Hello everyone, I am Tacit and welcome to the Brighter Shores live stream of the minor bounties coming out today with the Robobugs and Blaze mining, both of which sound interesting. So just a heads up before we get into everything, this is our final Brighter Shore stream until pretty much late August. I'm going on a trip to Greece for the next almost 3 months, so I will not be back for quite a while. I will not be doing any streaming while I'm gone, so this will be our last Brighter Shore stream we can get in until then. Pretty much our game plan for when we get back is on the first day that we stream Brighter Shores on our way back, we'll be doing everything for the month of June, then everything for the month of July, and then everything for the month of August. Then from there, every new quest that comes out we'll do as a separate stream as the 4th, 5th, and 6th stream. There should be 2 quests that are likely to come out before we go. One of them is about to happen very soon, Rags to Riches in a few weeks. That will be one of them that we'll miss, that we'll do on the 4th stream, which will be like super late August, we'll go over it. And the other one we're going to be missing is most likely the Hematic Treasure. This is likely a 4-star quest coming out for Chapter 2 that is likely to come out probably sometime in July, if I had to guess. Like July, early August. So that'll be another one that we'll do. So we'll do all of June, then all of July, then all of August in one stream. Or, you know, each in their individual stream. The 4th stream would then be Rags to Riches, and the 5th stream would then be Hematic Treasure once we get back. And then we should be fully caught up with everything, I would assume. And that's pretty much the game plan. But for today, this is our last one that we can end up getting in with this Robobugs and Blaze mining. A lot of cool stuff coming in the near future. We're getting a bunch of luck rarity stuff. We're getting the blacksmith luck increase on next week. We're getting the stonemason one in early June, and it looks like the bonerite one is coming in early July. I say that because this one is connected to bonerite right here, so 2 weeks after this one should be connected to bonerite rarity, so that should be early July. So by early July we should have max rarity for every weapon making skill, which is great because they've kind of been behind ever since the milestones update, so this should bring them more in line so it's actually worth making weapons, most notably 4-star weapons whenever we finally get special attacks and everything, likely early next year or whenever they finally get around to it, hopefully eventually. But whenever they get around to special attack, skill tree, and everything, that's going to be really nice. In the short term, it's not going to be too much of a benefit unless you really like making weapons for, if you're like really dry for combat or something. But otherwise, it'll be a lot more beneficial once, you know, special attacks and everything else come into the game, since you're actually going to need that 4-star equipment to be able to go and utilize them. But anyways, as far as today, we're going to also be focusing on the mining bounties. Honestly, we might just focus a little bit on all the bounties in Brighter Shores for this chapter, just because this chapter now finally has bounties for every single skill. It is the only chapter in the game that every single skill has bounties for, chapter 3. So yeah, we might just mess around with all of them a little bit today, just to kind of, you know, just mess around with everything, since this will be our final stream for it for quite a while. Might as well get some grind in before we go. Anyways, hello, Bud. Hello, John. Hello, Rod. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, let's see. Let's go right through this. So, May 18th, 2026, that is today, minor bounties. Babel has a lot to say about minor bounties, unless you remember to ask him for the short version. In his defense, there is a lot to say, but perhaps not quite as much as he would like. Minor bounties are unlocked by reaching milestone 1, which is actually the lowest requirement of anything in chapter 3. If I'm not mistaken, smithing and bonerite are both milestone 2, and I believe stonemason is milestone 3, so this is by far the easiest one to obtain. Only milestone 1, you're pretty much halfway there, as I believe the quest forces you to have to get like 20, 25-ish anyways, so you're already halfway to like getting to this point just from doing this standard quest line. So yeah, this is really easy to reach. This is the earliest that any of these new bounty systems I've ever been on, particularly in this chapter. And then talking to Babel in the Goblin Well, which is that one room right between the stonemason and smithing room. You can collect minor bounties from the minor bounty boards, which are located through the mines of Matubin. All these bounty boards carry the same bounty. So yeah, it works just like fishing, where there's probably like 3, 4 or so different bounty boards, but they all share the same timer, unlike something like Merchant, which has a double dip for it. But yeah, it seems to work kind of like fishing bounties, at least as far as the bounty boards. The bounties themselves sound like they're quite a bit more unique, though. There are 3 kinds of minor bounties. Mine only, which is the pretty standard one, just, you know, mine ore to order, break stone as stated, and simple as a bounty can get. And then we have 2 new activities that they end up adding specifically for this. Blaze mining. Weaken a rich ore, seam, or stone by setting a fire next to it, and then rapidly cooling the ore, seam, or stone at the right moment using a bucket of water. Once weakened, the rich ore, seam, or stone can be mined, giving extra items as a reward. And then we have Rubble Hunt, or Rubble Bug Hunt. Rubble bugs like to hide in their favorite ore or stone. To catch one, first you must mine the correct ore or stone until the rubble bug pops out, and then you can chase it down and hit it with a pickaxe. What I like about these is, unlike fishing bounties, you actually get to keep what seems like most, if not all, these resources. One big issue with fishing bounties is more than half the stuff that you end up getting. You just have to go and turn into a merchant for money, so you don't actually get to keep the fish. It looks like with a lot of these, you actually get to keep it. It seems like rubble bug you do. For mine only, it seems like you do, unless you have to turn in for a little bit of gold there. But at least half the mine onlys you should be able to keep, if not all of them. And even this blaze mining, it sounds like with the extra ore and everything, it sounds like you get to keep every single thing you get from it. So unlike fishing, where you have to turn in like 2/3 of your total fish for money, it seems like you get to keep like 80 to 100% of your ore while doing the mining bounties, which makes sense. I wish every single bounty system for a gathering skill was set up like this, as obviously if you're doing a gathering skill, you want to, gather stuff. It doesn't really make much sense to just turn it in for money when you actually need the resources if you're doing a gathering skill. That's kind of the whole point of a gathering skill. But it seems like with mining bounties, they actually did it correctly in that you get to keep pretty much everything you get. So that's pretty cool. As far as some quality of life, they added a tooltip to the containers in the tool belt, probably because they have more uses now, such as the bucket that can, be turned into a water bucket. Added a view recipe for pufferfish and deathstone. Not sure why I didn't have it before. You can now cancel a potion effect in all... Oh, wait, we were just talking about this last week. So one thing we did send is we sent a bug report, and they did fix the duplicating potion bug by the next update. That was one of them that happened last week. But the other thing was we were kind of mentioning that the action ends up canceling out the station. Like when we end up canceling out the XP potion, we ended up canceling out the action as well. So what they also ended up doing is now whenever you cancel a potion effect while doing an activity where you're allowed to drink potions, it will no longer end up interacting with the cancellation of whatever you're doing. So if you're making potions on the potent station, it won't just kick you out. If you're making something like ore on one of the smithing things, it won't just kick you out. If you're doing filtration station, if you're trying to cancel a potion and then use a new one, it won't kick you out. So a lot of situations like that where you can now cancel your potion, re-drink a new one, and be good to go. This is something we actually mentioned last week, but they actually just implemented today. So both of the things we mentioned from that stream were fixed. One the day after, because it's literally a duplication glitch. I don't think most people exploited it that much though. And the other one was this one, which they just added as of today, so that's pretty cool. Anyways, bug fixes. They fix a bug which could prevent the map interface from loading in some rooms, hide the chat bubbles for players whenever they're out of the room, fix long-standing avatar handle no longer valid, which I think is whenever you're setting up your name or getting a new name. The camera setup is now restored correctly if you disconnect or resume play of the potent potions. Fix a bug where you could end up with an invisible drawer button selected if you switch to a new character, and fix cards for passive ore mining spots. Also today, they also did another mini patch fixing some bugs with what they did today. So quality of life improvements. So good thing we already got this patch, so we didn't have to deal with all the bugs earlier. As one good thing about starting this earlier is all the little mini patches that they would do for a patch like this, a patch day, they already did, so we should be good to go. So they made rubble bugs clear your existing action queue when you choose to catch action, probably because you have to catch them pretty quickly, so you don't want to keep mining, you want to make sure you go straight to them. And bug fixes make Deathstone bounties progress when you mine them. For some reason that wasn't doing that. That's pretty bad, but they fixed that since then, so we don't have to deal with that luckily. Fix blaze mining bounties to suppress the action boost for only the blaze mining location instead of all locations of the matching ore, probably because they don't want you to double it. Otherwise it might be too much XP. And do not offer Durabine blaze mining bounties until you have access to it. I think the main issue with this is I don't think you get access to it until like level 74. And you get these bounties at level 50. So there's probably some people in the level range of level 50 to 73, aka, milestone 1 to milestone 123, and that didn't have access to Durabine yet, that were still getting bounties. So I think that was the issue that was popping up there, I would assume. And yeah, that's everything. Alright, so we are kind of already went around this earlier, but yeah, we're getting all the rarity stuff. By early July, we should have it for Bone Right and everything else as well. Getting a new quest that we'll go over once we come back. And a bunch of other stuff, like the alchemy bounties I'll probably do quite a bit while I'm gone, as alchemy will probably be one of the main things we do for knowledge points while passiving stuff in Chapter 3. But anyways, let's go and get into this. We'll be doing mining bounties, and I guess there's a little bit of all the bounties in this chapter, since this will be our final stream that we could do for like 3 months. So might as well do a little bit of a longer stream, though of course we'll go over all the mining stuff first. And then while we're waiting for more mining bounties, we'll go and check some of the other ones. Of course, we're currently still trying to passive up Stonemason. We did finally get to milestone 8. We are now in milestone 8 in everything in Mines of Batubin. By the time I get back from the break, we will probably be at milestone 9 everything. So that would be pretty nice. And at that point, honestly, I might just go milestone 10 everything. Once we get to milestone 9 smithing, we will also have access to being able to do alchemy as quickly as possible, which is something I definitely want to prioritize, as maxing alchemy and maxing all of my tubing are probably my 2 highest priorities between passiving it within the trip, getting knowledge points while I'm away, as well as once we get back, probably the main things we focus on once we catch up on all the updates that we would have missed in the next 3 months. But anyways, let's go figure out where these mining bounties are. Based on the patch notes, it seems like there should be some right over here. Actually, before I do, I should probably go take these thingies real quick. Let me do that. I got to reset dailies. Forgot to do that earlier. You haven't logged in yet today. So let me go and just reset these really quick, and then we'll go straight into that room that has the question marks in it that obviously has the bounty board in it, because the patch notes already mentioned it. As far as bounties, we're still sticking with these. I might throw a little bit of mining bounty once we get to tier 9 just to get some more blast mining done. However, these are the main ones we'll probably be focusing for the next foreseeable future, since we, of course, ended up going and doing the grind for Forager. We've gotten a 3rd slot that we've been utilizing the last, like, almost month now. And with that 3rd slot, we've been doing 2 into Merchant, which is getting us a ton of alchemy supplies for our max alchemy grinds. That we'll be doing pretty much as soon as we get back in September, as well as putting the other one into fishing, as there are still some benefits to fishing, as well as it's getting a boost soon. I believe it's doing rarity. I think it was smithing rarity or stonemason rarity. I forget which. I think it was smithing. But one or the other is getting boosted based on fishing. So it'd be pretty good to have, you know, tier 8 if we can start pushing for that, as we will just be 1 tier away from max rarity for whenever we do production stuff. We don't currently know exactly how much of a rarity boost we're ultimately going to be getting from stuff like that, but I don't know, we'll find out when it happens. I won't be able to go over it until after, but I assume it's going to be a pretty substantial amount, given that they basically doubled the rate from combat with luck potions, technically double and a half because of the 50% extra you can get from some enemies. So also, whenever I take this bounty, I always grab 22 of these, by the way. I use this to always grab 22 of whatever I'm doing. Just a nice little extra efficiency thing you can do, since I have the inventory anyways and there's a thing to bank. So whenever you're going by this, if you're doing your dailies, to go to the fishing spot, either of them, but particularly this one because it's right next to a bank, make sure to just grab some alchemy supplies that you need for whatever you're currently doing, as you basically get to 0-time bank these, which is pretty nice, which we get to do right over at this storage rift over here. It's a lot quicker than having to walk from here to there over and over again. Obviously you only get to do it once per day, but it starts adding up if you're doing it every single day, because we can just go put these in here and then go grab our other thing here. You'd also even just grab like just 20 so that it doesn't end up over encumbering your inventory, but it's not too big a deal just to grab that real quick. And then grab this, store it away again, and then we're out of here. Back to mining bounties, or starting mining bounties. I haven't even seen them yet. Anyways, let's go put this down. Nice, got a level there as well. Gotta get that milestone 8 so we get that better rarity from smithing, or whatever it's going to. Alright, let's go do this. Mining bounties, let's go check this out. They sound pretty fun. Blaze mining, and we gotta find some rubble bugs. Rubble bugs seems like you just mine a bunch and you find them in a vein. Oh, I gotta switch to lobster soon. I almost forgot about that. Gotta do that in 2 more levels. I keep forgetting they have a midway upgrade now. Here we go. Here's one of the main binding boards. I'm not sure where all of them are, but we'll go and well, saying that next to a well, that's funny. But I wonder if that's where you put your things in to go fill them. Yeah, you can. Huge. Okay, cool. So that well actually has a purpose now. Miner bounty board. You need to talk to Babel. Oh yeah, we actually have to talk to Babel first. Okay. Hey there. You look like someone who would be interested in mining. Yes, we do have level 8 milestone mining. We're nearly max. Would you like to know more about miner bounties? Yes. I could tell you the long version or a short version. You know what? Let's go for the lore today. We'll go for the long version. Good choice. Well, it all started when me and Bobble, who is my second cousin, ventured deep into the unexplored section of the mines 10 years ago. This was before Bobble became a merchant. He was still a miner, and I was shadowing him as a brand new miner. I was quite green back then. Well, I am still green now, but you get what I mean. Anyway, we came upon this narrow cave entrance. When I say narrow, I really do mean it. We could hardly squeeze our way through. As far as we know, this entrance was not marked in any maps. We were adventurous and wanted to be the first to explore it. Bobble went in first. We crawled and wiggled. At first, things seemed fine. We progressed through the passageway slowly but surely. I followed behind Bobble, but it was getting darker the further we went, until I could hardly see anything at all. Wanting to check if Bobble was okay, I called out his name. Bobble replied, but he sounded like he was far behind me. It turns out we came upon a branching path and took different routes by accident. we were both quite scared. Neither of us had enough room to turn around. Having no other choice, we both crawled forward, hoping that there would be a more spacious section in front to turn around in. Luck favored me that day. I eventually entered an open area that was full of rich ores and stones. Some of the ores and stones were so rich they were practically glowing. But it was not the time. I quickly turned around and exited the cave and called for help to rescue my cousin. Turns out Bobble got trapped in an even narrower passage, and we had to pull him out using a long rope. Neither of us wanted to be miners after that. Bobble became a merchant, and I started managing this bounty board that came out literally today to tell other miners what to mine. And that's how the Miners Bounty Board came to be. There are 3 types of bounties: general mining bounties, blaze mining bounties, and rubblebug bounties. Would you like me to explain them in detail? Sure, why not? We're already this deep in, might as well go all the way. What are general mining bounties? General mining bounties are the most common type of bounty. You will get a small reward for mining specific ores and stones. Nice, so we don't have to turn them in. Or I don't know, we'll find out. Sounds like we don't have to turn them in. What are blaze mining bounties? Blaze mining bounties involve seams that are incredibly rich in materials but are difficult to mine. They can only be mined using a process known as blaze mining. You will need some ash logs, that's a problem, a tinderbox, and a bucket of water. Okay, so this might actually use quite a bit of supplies then. The ash logs will need to be equal or higher to the milestone. Oh, that's a bigger problem. Hold up. I gotta go buy ash logs. Hopefully they... Oh, wait. No, are ash logs even buyable? Because I believe ash planks aren't. So I might not actually be able to do this. Oh no! Wait. Because you would need wood cutting, because I'm mining tier 8. I would need to have wood cutting tier 8 to do this. Oh no, I'll go double check, but I don't think I could buy ash logs. I know we can't buy ash planks. I forget if the logs are also money locked or not shop locked. But yeah, I need to go check that. The ash logs will need to be equal or higher in milestone than what you are trying to mine. I can give you a tinderbox for you to use. Nice, fire making skill just got added today. You can get a bucket of water from the well just over there. Once you have all 3 of these items, you will need to place the ash logs against the rocks and light them on fire. Watch the rocks heat up and pour the bucket of water once they start sparkling. Careful with your timing though. Too early and the rocks won't be hot enough to break. Too late and the logs will burn out. Okay, so you gotta do it when it sparkles. If you were successful, you can then mine the rocks normally for a lot more bonus material than usual. Cool. We got a tinderbox, nice. Here is a tinderbox, free of charge, because I'm generous, unlike my cousin. Good luck with the blaze mining bounties. Alright, and now let's go check the other one. Rubblebug bounties. There are these little critters called rubber bugs. They like to hide. They like hide. They like to hide in the walls and floors and chew on good quality stones and ores. They just eat it right up. There are even rumors of them going after goblins when they cannot find enough to eat. Actually, now that I think about it, there aren't even that little. It's enough to put anyone off mining for good. Anyway, people sometimes post bounties if they spot a rubblebug around the mine. You need to mine the kind of ore and stone that the rubblebug prefers. If a rubblebug jumps out, chase it down and hit it with your pickaxe. Hope you catch plenty of rubberbugs out there. It makes the mine safer for all of us. All right, that's everything. Thank you. All right, let's go see our bounty board. So I'm not sure if we could do the vein blast mining thing. Rubberbug, we got a lot of those bug things. This one is just what, mine? Wait, this is a rich ore, right? So that means we gotta do blaze mining for it. Okay, this one does look like we have to turn it in, which is unfortunate. Mine? No, we don't have to turn it in. Okay, this is fine. So let's start doing some of these. So these are both at Carbonies, so they're right next to each other. Which, how many bounty slots do I have right now? I need to clear that other one. Alright, so I'll just take all these for now. And I can double grab these later then. And then we'll see if we can actually do these, because I might not have the ash logs to be able to do it. If I can't buy them from the shop, we have no way of doing it. But if this is mine only, this is actually really, really, really good. But yeah, let's go check all of the rubber bugs first. And then we'll go from there. And then we'll grab both of these simultaneously in a bit. But let's go to Cabernet and then go over to Basalt and go check these out then. So we should just have to mine a bunch of them. Let's see. It says where to do it. Central mining cavern. Oh yeah, let's try to see if we can find where the other bounty boards are. Did they put one in that room? No. I was hoping they would, given that they just put a bridge there. Where are all the other bounty boards? Okay, there's one over there by the flint and basalt. Is there one in the upper half? Yes, there's one in the upper half right next to the teleporter. That's really good because you can get that while doing smithing bounties. You can just 0 time grab some mining bounties. So that's pretty solid. Is that all of them? Is that it? Because that's 3. I'm not sure if there's a 4th anywheres. I think that is all of them. There's one by Flint and Basalt. There's one in the main hallway. And there's one in the upper area right next to the other teleporter. Also, for whatever reason, there's one in the Toad room. I don't know why you would put one there. Oh no, unless it's just the stone guy. Because why is that not highlighting him? I definitely used that guy before. Why is he not highlighted? That's weird. Because I don't think that's a bounty board. I'm pretty sure that's a stone eater. I don't know why he's not highlighted though. I've turned in many times to them before. But we'll go check it out. Anyways, let's see how these rubble bugs work. Wait, there's 5 bounty boards? Oh wow. Oh, I need to hunt for the rest of them then. Because if that one's a bounty board, that means we're still missing one then. Oh yeah, there's one right over here. Hold up. There's a bounty board right in this room. Wait, that's huge. There's one right next to Cabernice and Flatinium. Wait, that means there might be one in between this area too. No, they didn't put one over there. Oh no, yeah, they did. They did on Forgotten Tunnel. Oh, nice. Wow, they put a lot of bounty boards out there. We might need to go bounty board hunting soon. They had a lot of them. Alright, so I assume all we have to do is just keep mining this until a bug comes out, and the second a bug comes out, we just go and whack it. And then we get a ton of EXP for it. And all the while, we get to bank all these ores, which is nice. Because it's not going to consume any ore. We'll just simply whack the bug, and we'll probably just get that full payout with the EXP and everything. And I assume it can happen in either room. I don't think it has to be either specific room. As long as we're doing Cabernice, it should work, and all of these are Cabernice. Not sure how many we have to do on average, but so far almost a full inventory in and haven't found it. So we might actually have to do a couple inventories. Which if nothing else, all these are close to a bank, so you know, it'll just give more incentive to go and bank them all. These are all stuff we have to do anyways, because it's all near our level range. Every single bounty that's giving us are all things that are worth mining. So any bounty that we end up getting for it's going to be worth it. Especially if we still need it for production levels, which we definitely do at this level range. Oh, there it is. Alright, rubble bug, grab it. Oh, that wasn't too bad. Oh, nice. We even got a double ore from killing it, too. Cool. So we got the EXP bonus for doing the bounty. We got the extra knowledge from doing the bounty. And it even gives you double ore for killing it. Oh, and we got another one. This is our other bounty. Oh, no. He mined really... Wow, he went down so quick. I wasn't expecting them to run that quick. There he is. Oh, he didn't get away this time. Nice. That's not too bad. Oh, that one came really quick compared to the other one. And yeah, it looks like it gives you double ore whenever you go for it as well. Even if you don't use the double thingy. While also still getting the bounty bonus. Cool. Alright, now we gotta do basalt. And then we gotta go and... Oh, where's the bounty board right here? So here's the second new bounty board we found. So I'll go grab this. I'll grab the other 3 that we need. Might as well grab everything now that we have the space for it. Alright, let's go head over to... So I can't do the iron ore right now. I don't believe I have the corresponding ash log. I'll go check to see if I can buy it from the shop, but if I'm not mistaken, that is not buyable. I think that is actually woodcutting locked if you're playing on a lone wolf, which means unless you have trading enabled, yeah, I won't be able to go do those, I don't think. I'll go double check it, but I don't think we can. And we'll find out. Hey, also we finally got to use this bridge for something. This allows us to get over here a little bit quicker than we otherwise would. Also, I think I see another bounty board over there. There's one right next to iron and Adathril, if we ever need to utilize that. Yeah, here's another bounty board, the 3rd bounty board found so far. Anyways, what we're doing, basalt. So let's go do the bug again, except for basalt this time. A little bit lower rarity, but still seems really worth it. Do you want details on blaze mining if you can't do yours? Sure, I would love to hear about it. I would need to go double check to see if ash logs are buyable. Does anyone know? Can lone wolves buy ash logs? Because I know you can't buy ash planks. I forget if ash logs are different or not. I'll go check it right now that we have our inventory cleared. I'm going to go, as soon as we go bank these, I'm going to go check chapter 2 and see if we can buy tier 8 ash logs. I believe the answer is no, but we'll still go check just in case. Alright, let me go double, just go head over there. We'll go use the bank that's right on the path, so we don't even need to go out of our way. Then we'll go do these 2 Adathril ones, one which we just have to mine, which should be pretty easy. And then the other one where we need to get a bug from it, which is pure RNG based, but it doesn't seem like it takes that long. So far, our longest one was 15, our shortest one was like 2. So it doesn't seem like they're that rare. Maybe like 1 in 10? Or maybe even 1 in 8, given that the other bounties are already 1 in 8. Somewhere around there. They seem pretty common. Alright, let's see if we can buy ash logs. I feel like the answer is no, but we'll find out. Because the problem is I only have access to tier 5. And I need tier 8 for this activity. The answer is... Okay, good. We can buy them. Nice, never mind, we can do this. It's going to cost me some, but we could do this. Okay, let me go buy a couple of these since we're going to do it for a little bit. Though then again, we're not going to get that many bounties, but let me go bank these. I think it's slightly quicker doing it this way. Assuming you're not processing them. One new thing that came in with the milestone update, or whenever they added all these rifts, is this is slightly quicker than going over there, assuming you're not processing them immediately. So we'll grab like a few inventories just so we don't run out this entire stream. But yeah, you're allowed to buy them. It's just the planks you're not allowed to buy. You're allowed to buy ash logs, just not the plank. And of course, we're buying tier 8, so it works for our tier 8 mining. So we'll be able to go use that on iron ore. So we'll go do the iron ore next since we haven't tried that yet. So supposedly it gives you a lot more loot. I'm curious what it means by a lot more, because the bugs are giving us double. Because a lot more would imply it's going to give us like 5 or 10 or something. I don't know, we'll find out when we go do it. Also, it has some kind of timing, and I think we also need to get buckets of water, which I don't have yet. Should probably go get that. Alright, it should be the last inventory we need to buy. Is there a well over here I could fill up with water? Can I use this to fill up with water? No, that only works on watering can. Okay, I think we have to use the well in order to fill our watering thing. So let me go teleport to the well first, since I didn't get any buckets of water initially. Because I wasn't sure if we'd be able to do these or not. So let me go get a bunch of bucket of water. The only problem with this is I'm not sure if it takes up inventory space or not. Let's see if it goes to key items or how this works. Is there going to be like a double tooltip here for our buckets of water? Let's see. So I'm going to use item here. Does this fill up my inventory? Or does it fill up like something here or something? So I put a bucket in. We get a bucket of water. Okay. You put the bucket of water in your minor profession equipment inventory. Oh, that's an interesting one. I wish they would put more of the botanist supplies there. But, okay. So if I go to minor, and I go to here, I have 1 bucket of water. Also, my pan for AFK is such a low level. I should probably go get those at some point. But we're already at tier 8. I have a tier 3 pan. But, yeah, we have a bucket of water. Also, because how the conversion worked, I actually have a tier 9 pickaxe, even though I don't have tier 9 mining. But I guess we'll fill a couple of them so we don't have to come back here ever for some water. Not gonna go too crazy with it. If we need more, we'll come back for it. But we'll grab like 10, I guess. This is a very slow process. I don't want to go too crazy here. Well, we'll grab 10 just so we don't have to come back for a little while. But yeah, they're all going to this inventory. What if you could buy a bucket of water? I'm pretty sure you can't. Is how time consuming this is? I'd buy them for like 1 or 2 silver each if we could. It's not that bad, but you're not gaining any knowledge or XP while doing this. There's one big issue with a lot of actions like this in this game. Is if it's not feeding you both XP or knowledge, or at least just knowledge in general, it's kind of bad. But maybe these bounties will make up for it enough with the loot to make up for it. And who knows, maybe they'll add some way to mass buy them in the future. Because gas seals are another one in that kind of category. Luckily, the most recent quest they added made it so you use half gas. But it's still a problem in the sense that it takes forever still. It still takes like a good 5 minutes to go fill up your gas. Like the full process for everything. Like if you could just pay an NPC to do that for you for like 100 silver, it'd honestly be worth it. If you ever want to start adding money sinks like that. Alright, how's our buckets of water doing? We'll do another one right here. I think we have enough for now. Yeah, we have 11. Let's go for a dozen. Gotta go for a dozen. Actually, let's go for a baker's dozen. We'll go for 2 more. And then we'll go see what this bounty has to do. So what was this on? Iron ore? So we can go check another thing. Hey, Shore Central's here. Nice, nice. Should be able to get like 5 to 10 without clicking again. Yeah, that would be nice. Hello, hello. Currently, the max stack is 750. Would you have? Nice. We're not staying here that long. We got a baker's dozen. All right, let's go and do this bounty. And while we're over there, I believe we get a 3rd bounty board that we haven't seen yet, which is this one right over here between the andesite and iron, which is perfect since we're going straight to iron right now. This also has really good synergy with bone right bounties if you're doing a bunch of bone right stuff, as you could very quickly go check your bone right stuff. It's also the first chapter to have every single bounty board now as well. But now we have bounty board synergy where we can see if we have any high rarity stuff here, and if so, we take it. Otherwise, we'll probably ignore it. Alright, so let's go do this new thing. So what? I'm looking for a special vein. I think we're looking for a special tinted vein. I think I found it. Alright, now what do we do? Mine? I think we mine. How does this work? Do I have to set something up? I feel like I'm supposed to set something up here. Oh, it's telling me what to do. Perfect. Rich ore can only be mined by fire, setting the ore using an ash log. Oh, yeah, I don't have an ash log on me. Let me go grab that. That was kind of the whole point of buying a billion ash logs. Probably go do that. That was kind of why we bought 72 ash logs. Let's see. Let me go to withdrawal items, go to lumber, go to tier 8 ash log. All right, let's start this again. And I think it's said to click on it when it glows or something. All right, so we use an ash log here. So what am I waiting on? A certain glow? What am I waiting for? Okay, it's glowing, it's glowing. Also has a sound cue. Alright, do I just mine it now? Alright, cool. It gives you 7 instead of the normal amount while finishing out the bounty. And it costs you 1 ash log to do, but you do get a lot of ore in return. Yeah, that's not too bad. Obviously, the main thing that's useful for it is the turn-in bonus. And what's great about it compared to fishing bounties is you don't have to go anywhere. So these bounties are actually worth doing. Because every bounty, you don't have to go anywhere to turn it in. You don't have to go anywhere to turn in your ore. You don't have to go anywhere to, you know, catch your bug. You don't have to go anywhere to go do the bug thing, though you might need to go get an ash log from a storage rift. But luckily, all these are right next to a storage rift these days, so it's kind of easy to go do. Alright, the only thing we got to go do now is add a through. It's a little bit out of our way as far as where the bank is, but that's fine. Before we go over there, let's see if we can find some more of the bounty boards. So there's still a couple more question mark rooms we haven't gone in. One of them, for whatever reason, is in the toad room. There's pretty much no binding over here other than Durbean. But they put it in the toad room from what I could tell over here. The thing that could be beneficial with this is if you're synergizing combat with, you know, grabbing some mining bounties. You can get it whenever you're doing mining in Mines, or sorry, combat in Mines of Batubin. Because this is a little bit far away from Durbean, but yeah, they put one like right over here in the middle of nowhere. But if you're doing like the skeletons or the toads while doing combat, this could be worth, you know, just grabbing some bounties while you're in the area. It's just there's already so many bounty boards in this chapter. I don't really foresee you really using these. Unless you just did Durbean. It was like, I might as well grab a bounty while I'm here. But otherwise, this bounty board is probably the weirdest positioned bounty board. Unless you're like this guy and multi-synergizing it. I guess one synergy it does have is whenever you turn in the fire guy, you get to turn in on him and then check your mining bounties, I guess. He's in a really bad location to turn in, but at least it's a little bit better with the mining board here. What other ones have I not checked? So this is the Durbean mining board, kind of. I think there was one on the other path, which I need to go to anyways when we head over there. And then that should be all of them. So let's go head over there next. Let's go to Mine Deep. And I believe that's the final board. Oh, no, there's one more, I think, up here. But that's really close to the teleporter. I might have to teleport there manually because I don't think any of my tasks are going to bring me over there naturally. So we're going to have to go and teleport to go grab that. But obviously you would get that pretty easily when you're doing smithing bounties. Or even some stonemason bounties in the area. Alright, let me go bank all this. This is not a vein, so I don't need to grab an ash log here. Otherwise we'd want to grab an ash log there. And apparently there's a bounty board like somewhere's here. Did they put it in the wall or what? Where's this bounty board? Oh, they put it on the bottom. No! No! They put it on the bottom. Oh, I can discover it from over here. I guess I don't have to talk to it. Long distance discovery. But yeah, just put one over here. But the way that it was positioned, it made it seem like it was going to be like in the wall, but no, they didn't put it in the wall. I guess you would use that whenever you're using this lower bank. Or if you're killing rafts or something similar in the area. I guess technically when you're going... No, you wouldn't need it when you're doing this. Because as I was going to say, you could use it when you're mining these, but no. They added another storage rift over there, so... I guess that's only really useful if you're teleporting around or doing combat in that area. Alright, good. So this is progressing 2 things at once. Not only are we getting a chance for the bug, but of course we're also progressing our Mine 8. And unlike fishing bounties, one really good thing they did with this is they made it an actual gathering bounty, and you don't have to go turn it in. You get to keep every single one of these ores. So that's huge. And we'll get all 8 progress for this. And now hopefully we get the bug soon. And then there's every bounty completed. And then we get new bounties every hour, of course. And if you're at a shiny level, you can go and, you know, keep getting them. The only problem is I don't get shiny level again until max level. But you get it at what levels? You get shiny bounties at level 1 the second you unlock them. You get it at milestone 4. You get it at milestone 7, which unfortunately we are past. And you get it obviously at milestone max, which they added like a month or 2 ago, a couple months. I forget what patch they did it in. But all bounties now have shiny bounties at the max. So you could just spam them for money or resources later down the line. Because this does actually increase the amount of resources you ultimately get from whatever you're mining. Of course, it would have to correlate to whatever you actually need at a given time. But whatever your current 5 highest ore seems to be what it gives you tasks for. Like this Adderthorl I'm getting right now is like the lowest tier 1 it could even give me. But even that's still kind of worth mining. We're still getting like 10k each. Whereas the best thing we could be mining is I think it's like 15k. Which obviously a little bit of a difference, but still kind of worth it when you get to cash in on the bounty. Though speaking of the bounty, this one's taking a little while though compared to normal. Going a little dry on this one. Unless the two don't synergize together. In which case the first 8 rocks didn't count towards it. But I assume you can get them done at the same time. But we haven't actually seen an instance where we're getting progress on the ore while also getting the bug to spawn. But we need a lot more bounties to kind of check that. But it looks like we got one full inventory without getting one, unfortunately. Which is the first time this has happened so far. Because the driest we went prior to this was, I think, 15. Well, we'll keep doing it until we get it, and by then we should have new bounties. And then we'll go do that set, and then I guess we'll just mess with a bunch of the other bounty boards then. Go do some smithing or anything else that's worthwhile in this chapter. But it seems to be everything with the mining bounties. Overall, definitely seems very, very, very worth doing compared to fishing bounties. Honestly, I think they're even better than stonemason bounties. Stonemason bounties are just that bad. Even though it's a production skill that should, in theory, be really good to do bounties for, I think mining bounties are actually better than them. Just because every single bounty that you get is really good and worth doing. Like, there's not a single bounty that's a dead bounty. And unlike a lot of production skills, you don't need to worry about not having the resource. Which I guess that's not true. I guess you could not have the ash log. No! He dug! Wow, how quick do they go? That's the second time now one of them got away from me. I see why they made it so it auto-prioritizes the bug. Because those things dig so quickly. That's insane. So we got that after about 30 digs, it looks like. So it was a little dry. Okay, there we go, there we go. Got him. Alright, we got him. There we go. And of course, we get a double ore for that. Alright, let's go bank all this, and I guess the next set of bounties already. Let's go grab them. And you know what? Let's go grab it from the other bounty board. So the only bounty board I think we haven't seen yet is this bounty board up here. This is actually probably one of the most useful ones out of any of them. The main reason being is that you come by here whenever you do smithing bounties, and stonemason bounties, and combat, and like everything. So it's in a really, really good position to just be able to grab while doing a bunch of other stuff. And of course, we're going to grab everything. Well, as much as we can right now. We can't fill up on everything. Is there anything we could do while over here? Nice, granite. I could do that while over here. Flint, Adderthorl. Adderthorl's kind of over here. Now we'll grab the other ones once we go to the next area. Guess we'll grab the double Cabernice when we go head over there. Alright, that should be everything. Alright, so, for Cabernice, I do gotta remember we gotta go get an ash log whenever we get one of those. That will end up consuming one ash log. But while we're here, let's go do granite. Fortunately, we're gonna have to do it in a little bit of a weird way since we're starting at a weird cycle. So we'll grab this, grab our granite from over there, go grab our smithing bounties for free while we're waiting on the respawn. Oh wait, this is one of the blast ones. Hold up. I thought this was something else. I thought this was mine X of them. I do need an ash log for this. Okay, let me go get one. So we need an ash log for this, so let me go grab it from over here. The only problem with this is you can't really keep spare ash logs on you. It's not really worth it. So we're going to have to go all the way to the bank just to go grab your ash log whenever you end up needing it. That's not too big a deal, though. And you can buy them from the shop, so that's not too big a deal either. So you don't actually need the woodcutting level. It would save you money if you had the woodcutting level, but it's not required. This also gives a nice purpose to all your excess ash logs that you might have from woodcutting. The only problem is, with the way that I'm leveling things, I'm going to have max mining before I even have like tier 6 woodcutting. But if you're not doing it that way, you would have a bunch of spare ash logs you could use for it. That you would have for free rather than have to spend on them. Alright, we're waiting for the sound cue. Or the visual cue. Alright, there it goes. Put the water on it. And now we should get like 7 of them right here. Nice. Alright, there we go. Bounty done. Oh, and we got a knowledge point already. Alright, let me go see what we have for smithing bounties over here while we're here. But I don't have like no inventory to go grab any though. Good, I need that to go level it. We'll take that one later when we come back. Actually, you know what? We're already here. Let me go do this real quick. I forget if we ever showed this on stream. But this is our new highest level one that we got, tier 8. I don't have it at very hard. It's the only one I don't have it very hard. Everything else we do. But this is the twin streams, where you have 2 streams going and you got to make all the paths. So we'll go do this real quick, just so I can clear up my bounty to grab the other one, just as a placeholder, while we go clear out the other bounties. Alright, also, I love this puzzle, by the way. It's probably my favorite of any of these new things that they've added. As far as what you end up doing with them and everything. Do we need one there? I don't think we end up needing one there. I'm going to put it just in case, though. Let me start getting a bottom movement on that one so we can start getting that into position and then try to figure out where we need to go from there. Alright, so this one is pretty easy. We could just have it go all the way over. So let me start doing that. Let me put some flats down in case we need it, just because we might end up needing it for the splitters, because I'm not sure how many splitters we're going to need here. Oops, don't do the acceleration. That'd be so bad. Almost misclick accelerate. Alright, let me go stop it real quick to give us some time. This one, I should probably put a dual splitter on because the other one's going to come through this area. So 100% we want to make sure that can get through. We're then going to want a bottom right there, so we can put that there, then put the other one that's right next to it to get over there. Shouldn't need anything else to go get that through. We'll get the other flat there so we don't need to worry about it later. And now everything for this one is solved. Now we go solve for the other one. So we'll go move this over here. It doesn't look like we're going to need another splitter at all, so we're already good to go. I just need another top left to go connect that, and now that one's done, and now I just got to do the bottom one, and that is puzzle completed. I just need to get a few more flats, get a couple more verticals, try to get some synergy so we can get both done at once. And that should be a speed up, I believe, unless we're missing something somewhere. But that should be everything for completion. But yeah, this is the only bounty we don't have at max level yet. That and the tier 9 one that we don't have access to yet. But there we go. Nice and completed. But yeah, these things give so much XP, especially if you always do them on max difficulty. Some of them do get a little bit difficult at very hard, but they're definitely still manageable. I just wanted to do this real quick so we can clear up a spot. Oh yeah, I forgot. We don't get any knowledge from this though. Whoops. I'm already over encumbered. Probably should have used some first, but oh well. Alright, let me go and grab this, which is what I wanted to get before I forget it. Alright, so now let's go and store all this away. I'm going to need one more log as well when we go head over to Cabernet, so let me go do that right now. We'll store this away, grab a Cabernet, don't click on him. Let's see, Cabernet. Withdraw items, go to, what am I looking for? Ores? No, I'm looking for lumber. I'm looking for an ash log. Luckily, it's all the way at the top, so really easy to go grab quickly. Alright, so what are we doing? We're going to the mine southern area. Also, before we go and start turning this in, I need to go make sure we use a 10% potion and put both those in the stonemason. Stonemason is still by far the most annoying thing to level in this entire chapter, even more so than bone right, honestly. I'm not going to check the bounties for it right now just because we already checked it earlier. Or not that we checked it earlier, but because we're over encumbered, I mean. Alright, let's go head over to our Cabernet. Let's make sure to use the 10% beforehand. So we currently have 2 tasks for Cabernet. We got to go mine 7 and go find the rich vein, which we have the log for, which we'll both be able to do in one go then. Actually, I guess we could mine while we're waiting for the other thing too. We can get multi-synergy there. Something I haven't really bothered doing because we weren't really sure on the timing. But now that we do, and of course, like any bounty, you can go and boost these as well. We'll use a 10% pot here. Claim these for stonemason. Grab that, claim it again for stonemason, get a level. Grab these. And then this will go and satisfy the thing. Also, doubling does count towards double progress towards your bounty. And the thing I want to check here is, can I grab some progress for the other thing while we're waiting for the explosion? So if I grab this and this, can I start setting this on fire and then also mining the other ones nearby? So I'm going to do this. I'll start lighting the fire with his fire making level of none. Yeah, you can. So in the downtime while you're waiting, you can grab like 1 or 2 ore. Probably only 1. Unless they're like really, really close. And you get a ton of loot there. Perfect. Alright, and now both of those 2 bounties are completed. Now we need to go grab the other ones and head over to Adithoril, which we'll be able to get easily while going over. And actually, just so we don't have to walk as far, we can actually grab it from over here too. So let me go bank here, grab these other 3. And then we'll go and head over there then. But I like this. This is way better than fishing bounties. This kind of makes me want them to go rework fishing bounties and make every gathering skill as good as mining is. Maybe they just made it weaker because it's free to play, which might be why they made mining so good. Same way why they made smithing so good and everything. Now, why did they make stonemason so bad though then? But yeah, this is really, really solid. The fact that you get to keep all the ore and everything and also still get the XP boost. Very nice. The only problem is you are moving around a much. And that time that you're running around is cutting into your XP rate. So the tier 1 ones are pretty much just barely breaking even because of that, unfortunately. But tier 2 and higher are definitely 100% worth taking. But tier 1's in a little bit of a weird, sketchy in-between. Because if you're going from ore to ore to ore, you're wasting a lot of time just moving and not mining. But tier 2 and higher is definitely 100% of the time always worth doing for anything. Though in all fairness, I feel like almost every bounty system is like that. Where tier 2 or higher is always worth doing. And tier 1 is questionable if it's worth it or not, depending on the skill. Oh, there it is. Grab it, grab it. Alright, good. We already got one. And that was the only one we needed as well, so we're out of here. Let's go ahead straight over to Flint. Which actually, I think it's slightly quicker going to chapter 1 to do this, but oh, well, we'll take the scenic route. If nothing else, we can grab some bounties while we're around. Also, we have all the mining bounties, right? That's all of them, I think. So I can go see if we have anything for stonemason real quick. Because now that we have every bounties in the area, we can kind of get some pretty nice bounty synergy now. The only problem is this one only has one bounty board and it's kind of in the middle of nowhere. Even the bone right bounty board's a little bit closer to the normal pathing you would go through. These storing stones aren't that bad. We can go make these real quick. Let's see. Oh, I'm already capped out on bounties though. No. Let's see. I should already have this. Is this Flint? I think this is Flint. This should be Flint. I am pretty sure this is Flint. Right. Flint. Is this the right one? We'll find out in a second. I think this is. Yeah, there it is. Let me make 4 of these real quick. I've honestly been doing the make ones and the one-time craft on the other ones a bit more. The main reason for this is turning them in is such bad value because of all the walking that you're doing. It's one of the big issues that tier 1 mining bounties have. But these, you don't have to move anywhere. You just do them and boom, you get your value. So I've been actually taking these a lot more often or just doing the first part of the build bounty and then just not bothering to turn it in unless it's like a 2-star or higher. Just to try to expedite stonemason a little bit since it's a little bit slower to train. Ever since they nerfed how many stones you need for each object. Which I never really recovered from XP rate wise. I would say it's the slowest out of these 4 by far to go and train now because of that. So you gotta try to utilize these bounties where you can to kind of offset that a little bit. But we'll go make 2 more of these, grab the other one from the bounty board, make that one, sell all this, put all that away, grab our ore, go head over to these other ones, and pretty much clear out our bounties other than the mining thing. The main reason I can't make the shield is I need a higher mining level, which technically we're doing today, though not fully today. There's no way we're getting 8 more levels. However, we'll make progress on it if nothing else. I might even just cancel it. It's just such a high rarity. It's like, I can't cancel it. I gotta keep it. But yeah, we won't be able to make that. If you have trading enabled, you could. But without trading, I have to actually get the level for it. And we do need 8 more mining levels. Something that is 100% not happening today. But you know, would happen in the somewhat near future. Though I might clear it just so we have room for alchemy bounties when I start doing them in like a month. Since I will still be playing some on them away. I just won't be playing nearly as much as I normally would. Mostly just resetting dailies and a few other upkeep stuff. But let's go get this last one. Also, once all the updates come out, I want to try not to do them as well unless they're like a super needed upgrade. Just so we can show them on stream for when we end up coming back after the 3-month break. But anyways, let me go make this, grab the other bounty real quick, make it one more time, get all of our free XP while we're already in the area, and then head back to mining bounties, clear out the rest that we have, clear out the smithing bounties. And unfortunately, that won't be the next hour yet, but we do have infinite smithing bounties right now, based on our current level range. The only problem with that is I cannot make shields right now. So I'm eventually going to get shield locked, even if I wanted to try to do that. We could try to do it some, if nothing else. So I'm going to take this. So even though this is a turn-in... Wait, what happened? Wait, what? I'm so confused. Didn't I make the stones? Wait, did I do it in the wrong tier? Oh no! I didn't even notice that. Wait! Do I not have the max tier for, or did I just grab the wrong ones? Hold up. Wait. I grabbed the wrong tier! Wait, can I even make them yet? Yeah, I can. I grabbed the wrong tier! I was like, wait, why did that not work? No! Oh, sadness. That's funny. I haven't done that in a very, very long time. But yeah, because it was the last one on the page, I was like, oh, that's the highest level one. That's the one we need. No, I didn't scroll down because the other thing blocking it. Whoops. I was going to say, why is it not ticking off the progress? Because it should normally have a little bounty thing above your head whenever you get bounty progress. But that's the one easy way to tell if you're actually getting progress on it. There it goes. Oh, first time bonus as well. Apparently didn't bother making this one yet. Probably because we just got the level like 1 level ago. So I haven't had the chance to yet. But yeah, you can always tell if you're doing something correctly for a bounty, as it will show a little bounty icon next to the XP drop, indicating that you're getting bounty progress. So that's one of the easy ways to tell, which we weren't getting there. Should have known. Also, at this point, my Adithro is going to despawn. There's only tier 7. We could let it go away. It won't be that big a deal. Tier 8 and 9 is the main stuff you really don't want to let despawn, as that's where the real value are. Because a lot of those resources for pretty much every skill starts costing like 10 silver or more. They're pretty expensive. Whereas tier 7 and below is honestly not that bad if you had to like buy it or something similar. Like they're still expensive. They're probably like 8 or 9 each or something. But they're not like 10 plus each. Like pretty much everything in tier 8 and tier 9 for every skill. Alright, let's try this again. And then we'll go do the mining bounties, then we'll go do the smithing bounties. And then maybe we'll go spam a little bit of smithing bounties since they're the only one we have that's infinitely repeatable in this area. Then I'll do some actual proper mining since I do need the mining levels. Oddly enough, iron ore is better to do at my current level range. For whatever reason, Cabernet is way worse. Cabernet is only 10,801 while giving 48 knowledge. And iron ore is like 1,800 more XP while giving 1 more knowledge. Even though this bar is way lower, it's giving 1 more knowledge per node, which makes like 0 sense to me why that is. Because this is basically worse in every single dimension, and I don't understand why they set it up this way. Cabernet ore is just definitively worse in every way than iron ore, with the only exception being I think you get a little bit better smithing XP from it. But aside from that, that is like the only thing I was going for. That and of course the smithing bounties that would be applicable to it. So unless we get like mining bounties or other thing for it, we're pretty much never going to really bother with it. Though one thing I guess we could do here, since we are getting some synergy, something that we normally wouldn't do. Oh no, this one's not the one I think it is. I thought this was the physical guy. Because I was going to say, if we have the physical guy, I can go and turn this in, but no, this is definitely an abandoned angle. This is a 100% abandoned angle. So we'll go make this, grab our ore, put away the other thing, go sell all this, and we are out of here. And that'll be every stonemason bounty that we could complete right now. Then we'll go do the mining, then we'll go to smithing. And then we'll go back to smithing once we have the next reset on the hour, since we don't have the infinite ones at the moment. Alright, let me grab all this junk. Let me sell all this other junk. Let me store away that other junk. Though we could have made one more, but we already made too much excess. We'll put it away for now. Alright, so what do we have to do now? We gotta go and do flint and flint. So let's go head over there and get some flint rolling. Which I think it is slightly quicker to teleport to chapter 2 and then go through the door. But I can't be bothered to go through there, so I'm just going to take the scenic route through the mines. Oh yeah, we could use the new shortcut, slightly quicker. Actually, that's not true, because if I want to grab bone right bounties, we actually do have to take the scenic route. There's 2 reasons why you might want to take the scenic route. One is you can pick up more mining bounties, but more importantly, you can check bone right bounties, something you can't do with the quick route. So if you do want to check them or haven't checked them on a given hour, you might want to go the scenic way. Once again, we did not get any higher rarity ones, so I'm just going to ignore it. Alright, so let's grab some iron while we're going by. Do some drive-by iron. This is the main thing we'd want to be doing for XP right now if we were to. So maybe we'll go spam out of that once we go clear all of our bounties. Once we hit a dead end and not getting any filtration on smithing, we'll go and just mine some normal mining. The way that we would for, you know, actual XP rate right now. But let's go do flint. So 2 things we got to do here. We got to go get 4 flint, which seems pretty easy to go do. And then go find the bug. We still haven't found any double synergy yet, where we got progress for that and got the bug at the same time. Not sure if it's possible. I assume it is. But we haven't seen it yet. Hello, Jets. Welcome, welcome. I've always been well. And of course, because of wood cutting, we haven't actually seen it yet this stream, surprisingly. But, no! It got away again. But, due to the woodcutting buff, we can also end up getting, from a lot of the ones that we're going to be doing, we could end up finding an extra ore, which gives us a bunch of random XP for a given skill in this chapter. So this chapter basically has everything it needs now. And over the next month and a half, it's going to get rarity as well. So we have a sparkling geode. This is from our woodcutting update a couple weeks ago. So we just got a bunch of free smithing XP, and that can be for any skill in the chapter. Alright, there he is. Grab him. Alright, there we go. Alright, and that's everything we got to do here. I can discard this because we don't need that. Alright, now we can go do our 2 other bounties then. Let me just grab some basalt while we're moving over to a bank. And then we can go and head over to the final objective we need then. We should go clear all of our smithing bounties, and then we'll just do some normal mining then. So grab all this, grab these 2. Head over to the bank, maybe get a geode here. And then let's go clear out the smithing bounties then. Also, double check the mining bounties in case I left one there. I don't think I did. In case I accidentally left one on the bounty board, we'll go grab it while we're over there. Because this one is probably the main bounty board we're honestly going to be grabbing most of our mining bounties off of. Mostly because this is where you go through this is where you go through for the filtration station. You also have to go here for kobold bounties. You also have to go here for smithing. You also have to go here for combat. You also have to go here for some stonemason bounties. So almost everything brings you over here for some reason. All right, we did clear it out. Every bounty has been completed. And now let's go and clear out filtration. And then just do some actual mining while we're waiting for the next set of mining bounties then. As well as all the sets of bounties. Why can he not do blaze mining? No, we can. The only thing I was concerned with is ash planks are not buyable on lone wolf accounts, but ash logs are. I wasn't sure on that, but yeah, ash logs are buyable, so we can end up doing it. I just wasn't sure on it, but yeah, you can. That was the only thing that would have prevented us from it, because my wood cutting level's not high enough. But yeah, it wasn't an issue. As luckily we were able to go and do it, because you just buy it from the shop. It's just ash planks you can't, but ash logs you can. Alright, so let's go clear out these two real quick. As soon as you ask, you gotta add. Oh no. Honestly, I need to go, like, try to turn down the ad frequency or something on YouTube. They have been going absolutely crazy with the ads lately. I'm not sure what has been up with YouTube lately with that regard. But I kind of want to go switch it to, like, the lowest possible setting. Because they've been spamming it like crazy lately. Alright, so this is a basic one, so pretty easy to do even at max difficulty. As this is as simple as they end up becoming. Also, before I go do the other one, let me go do this first so we can get a vertical there. So I can then do that. And move that one over there, and then when we grab that one. Oh, it unlocks being able to get those ash logs? Yeah, I didn't think about it that way. But yeah, I don't have the carpenter or the other level for it, so it did give me access to be able to buy them. That's a good point. Is otherwise we wouldn't have had access to buying it because I don't have the woodcutting or carpenter level to do. But because I have the mining level 2, I can. Which is applicable to other skills too. Like for example, if you don't have the carpenter level for a given material, you can still end up getting it by having the stonemason, smithing, or bonewright level that corresponds to it, and you can still get it that way. Also, this is probably like the weirdest one out of any of the filtrations because you're allowed to do basically anything you want. You can do some weird curves all over the place to kind of make it a little bit better. But overall, yeah, you can go just spam like crazy and just get it. I feel like I sometimes make way too many of these though. Because for the highest rarity one, you got to make sure you get it to at least 16, I believe it is. So you got to make sure your path is long enough. But I feel like I always make the path slightly too long, which wastes a little bit of time. But it's probably the most straightforward one other than the turn one, which is easily the easiest. What's nice about this one, though, is even though it takes a little bit longer, you have... Well, for one, it's basically unfailable, just because there's so many ways to win. But the other thing that's really nice about it is the amount of XP you get for it. Because it takes so long, you get an absurdly high amount of XP for completing these compared to an average filtration bounty. Alright, we almost got the main path done. And we just need a vertical over there. And then we need a lot of flats. So let me use this for a flat, just because we need so many flats. That's definitely the thing that we are needing the most right about now. As verticals, we're pretty much already done. I just need one more vertical. So anytime we get a splitter, we should be using it for a flat, just to progress a little bit quicker. So I gotta find a top left one. There it is. I need that for that one. Also, when I was first doing these, when we, initially got it, I thought you weren't allowed to replace any of them. But the fact that you can makes this so absurdly easy. Like, if you couldn't, this would be a lot more complicated. But luckily, you're allowed to replace them, so yeah, it's pretty free. Since you just keep spamming the same area until you get the exact piece you need. And now we just need a single flat, and we're good to go. And there it is. And you speed it up, and that should be puzzle completed for a ton of smithing XP. And of course, a bunch of knowledge. Alright, now let's go do some normal mining. We'll go teleport over to iron ore, because that's by far the best thing we'd be doing at this level range. And I guess we'll just do some of that while we're waiting for more bounties then. And we'll gain XP for every skill, but most notably mining. And all the knowledge will dump into stonemason. Alright, there we go. Nice solid 700k XP. Just double check, because I do have shiny bounties right now. Double check if we got anything good here. Always grab the double on the stone there, because it's free. Might as well. No, nothing else worth going for here. Alright, let me go bank these. Actually, you don't even need to bother bank. I'm just going to teleport over. It's not that big a deal. We'll use the bank over there. Alright, we're good to go. If we need more mining bounties, if they were up, we would grab them right now. Same with stonemason and smithing if we need them in this area. Because all these are really quick to go grab, but we already grabbed it, so we don't need it. Alright, let's go do some normal iron ore mining, as this should be our best mining XP rate we can currently get at this level. The only issue with this is it's all going to go to smithing, and stonemason's a little bit harder to train than smithing. But at least we'll get a bunch of the other material whenever we do bounties and other stuff. Otherwise, the best thing we could be doing right now would also be basalt, like a combination of flint basalt. But if we're just caring about only mining XP, iron ore is definitely the quickest thing we could go for right now. The other thing that's nice about it is, of course, we do have the woodcutting tool for it to make it better. So we will constantly be getting XP nodes for all 4 skills as we go and mine them. And since there's 10 of them and it's a flat rate of like 1 in 20, I think it is, we get a lot more of them from doing this, because we're taking 10 each set instead of just 6, which is another thing that's kind of nice about doing these ores instead. Also, it's cryonite. We're cryonite, so we do get to make our best blue weapon out of this. I guess other classes gain a good benefit too. They get a really easy weapon material. Because even though they don't need it for rapier, they can still, you know, make the stuff and still get progress for it. Oh, there's one of our nodes. We got it for mining. Did I compare the actual rates between iron and carbonice? Yes. Well, I didn't actually, I guess, test it. I guess maybe the respawn timer is different. Unless the respawn timer is drastically different, which I don't believe it is. Carbonice should be slower by a lot. I was just doing it based on the numbers that it shows. But I haven't actually double checked to see what its respawn timer is. So maybe it is quicker. The big issue with carbonice on my current level, though, more so my woodcutting level, is hypothetically, let's say carbonice is 5% better. I don't believe it is, but let's say hypothetically it is right now. It still wouldn't be better just because we wouldn't get geodes from it. Because geodes would be giving us a bunch of XP that we need for some other stuff we really need. That's the big issue with not having XP and knowledge tracker in this game. Is it's a little bit harder to tell your rates per hour. But assuming it has the same exact respawn rate, it's literally impossible for this to be better. Assuming its respawn rate is exactly the same. Because it's giving 1,200 less XP and 1 less knowledge. Per one that we do compared to iron. So assuming their respawn rates are exactly the same. Iron would just be better. Both because it is better, but also because they have geodes. Because I think you only need like woodcutting milestone 1 or 2 or something for geodes for iron. Whereas carbonice requires like tier 7 or 6. Let me double check. But for iron ore, you need, let's see, where is it? For iron ore, you only need tier 1 woodcutting. Whereas for carbonice, you need tier... Wow, it's really deep. Why is it carbonice so deep? What? You need tier 9. Why? Wait, what? I thought it was a bit lower than that. You basically need a max woodcutting. You need to get tier 9.5 to get carbonice to get the ore thing. That is so bad. I knew it was high. I didn't realize it was that high. Wow, carbonice is dead. You basically grab them for bounties and whatever you need for smithing just for the bounties as well. But aside from bounty stuff, carbonice is just like dead. Especially since it's very unlikely you would have this high of a woodcutting level before you get this high of a mining level. As the woodcutting is not as good as the mining. I guess it depends how you go about the game. Or if you play a lot of free-to-play. But, yeah, that is really bad. Basically, you have to max woodcutting to get the carbonice to be better than iron. I believe it does give you better smithing XP, though. That's the main trade-off of carbonice. But the other trade-off is it requires gas. I guess now that you use half as much gas, it doesn't matter as much. As long as you have the most recent quest. That was really fun, too. The Factored Reality quest. As long as you have Factored Reality completed, you should be good to go. Because you're using half as much gas every single time. Which really starts to add up. You still gotta, obviously, refill them eventually, but having to refill them half as much is really nice. But yeah, I do plan to do Chapter 2 at some point. With my current trajectory for leveling, it's probably could be one of the last chapters we really bother with, though. Because my next main priorities is Mines of Bitumen. Mostly because they've added bounties for literally every single skill, so it's like some of the best stuff to be training right now. A lot of them are just really quick to get done. So basically max out everything in Mines of Batubin and start working on Alchemy Max. There's like our 2 big priorities right now. It requires me to do some other side grinds, like do combat. I got to do at least 2 milestones in combat, so I got to gain like 117 levels in combat, so we can get a bunch of Mines of Batubin alchemy supplies to help us out with the alchemy grind, but also to use the XP pots for the rest of the Mines of Batubin grind and stuff like that. But it's pretty much my main grind right now. Is 113 combat levels, max alchemy, and max everything in Mines of Batubin. And then from there, it really comes up to where the updates are by then. Because by then, we're talking like October. So I'll have to see where the updates are as far as what they're doing, what they've added since then, stuff like that. As far as what our next pivot is. But as far as our current grinds, yeah, it's basically max Mines of Batubin and max alchemy while getting 113 combat levels, mostly for the purpose of getting alchemy supplies for alchemy, obviously. But also because it gives us a bunch of XP pots that we'll need for Mines of Batubin just to speed things up a little. Because right now, I've just been buying these as I need them, which has been really expensive. I think they're like 10 silver each. You know, it's not that crazy. But, you know, I'd rather spend 0 than 10 silver each, which is why I want to go get those 113 combat levels in. As well as a bunch of 10, 11, maybe even 12% XP pots for free. Which is way better than spending like 10, 11, 12 silver each. Like, it's not that expensive for what they are. It's like 1 silver per percent. But that really starts adding up over time. Because I want to try not to burn too much money when we do max alchemy. I'm trying to burn less than 300 gold. Because I'm keeping every potion. I'm not selling any of them back. Hello, Ron. Welcome, welcome. All's been well. Oh yeah, we're still doing the Gems of War live stream at the normal time tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Actually, we're pretty much streaming Gems of War every time before we leave. While this is our final Brighter Shore stream before the 3-month trip, we will be doing Gems of War tonight, tomorrow for the 9.2 patch, and Thursday and Friday for Guild War. But Friday being the last stream because I'm leaving by Sunday morning. So I gotta go to bed like really early Saturday night. Because I gotta be by the airport by like 6 or 7 a.m. Wow, 3 geodes. Really lucky. We got Stonemason, Bonewright, and Stonemason. Ideally, we want to be seeing production ones. Because the production skills are a little bit harder to get up than the mining is. I don't know, I guess they're all kind of difficult in their own way. I guess Stonemason's probably the absolute hardest, though. The Stonemason one's probably the main one we want to see. The biggest issue with Bonewright is mostly just, I don't have the carpentry supplies, so it's kind of annoying sometimes. But the passives are really good. Smithing is probably the freest one here, honestly. Just because Filtration Station is so broken. And Cobalt Arena, honestly, isn't that bad either. But particularly Filtration Station is just insane how good its value is. Especially with no input costs at all. Especially if you get really good at doing them on very hard difficulty. Which I've gotten decent at. I definitely still make a mistake on them sometimes, though. Like, some of them on very hard have some really weird pathing that can trip you up sometimes. That you can't just rewind on. Also, normally I can get it with no rewind. Sometimes you need like a single rewind on some of them. But most of them we can get with 0 rewind. Alright, what time is it right now? Oh gosh, we still got a while before the next bounty set. That's one thing I wish there was in this game, like some way to reset the bounty board. Like if you could pay like X amount of silver to reroll it or something. That or just have like golden bounties at like every level range, where they always just auto reset. Obviously that's one of the rewards for hitting max in the current state of the game. There's not too many for it, but one of them is that you always get golden bounties at it. But I do kind of wish they were kind of default, just so you can keep spamming them. The way they have it set up now is you're only really supposed to do them for 150 levels. And then all the other levels you're kind of meant to train a little bit more, like, you know, normally. But I don't know, I still kind of wish you could do it for all 500 levels. Obviously for some skills you can, like merchant and such. But most skills, it only covers 150 levels of the 500 you need. So 350 of them you have to do with only hourly bounties instead of auto refresh. Because something like mining would be kind of cool with auto refresh. Because you're never really going to hit a wall. I guess maybe on ash logs, but you can just buy them. Like there's no wall that you ever hit compared to a lot of other bounty systems. Where you might run out of supply, or it requires like some kind of untradeable that you don't have, or you know, not buyable at shop item. But mining doesn't really have that kind of wall like some other skills have. Where you can basically just keep doing mining bounty over and over and over again indefinitely. I guess fishing bounty was kind of like that. The problem is there were so many turn-in bounties that they weren't really worth doing. Whereas mining has no turn-in bounties, so all of them are worth doing. Because you actually get to keep all the material from it, which is good because you need to, you know, keep them so you can convert them into smithing XP and stonemason XP. So even though this is mostly a buff to mining today, it's slightly a buff to smithing and stonemason too, just because you get to keep basically all your supplies from it. And by basically, I mean literally all your supplies from it. So it's not like fishing where you're losing like half of it. I'm curious to see what they're going to do for alchemy bounties, because that's the next one that's coming in then. I wonder if they're going to do a different system, or if they're going to keep all the free-to-play ones kind of like that, where you have to waste some of the resources. Because one big concern I had with alchemy bounties is almost all of them are not worth turning in on a lone wolf. Because you'd have better value keeping the potion than you would turning it in. As the value for turning it in is way lower than the value for just keeping the potion. At least for tier 1 anyways. So I'm curious to see if they do alchemy bounties a little bit differently, kind of like how they did mining bounties. Because if they're all turn-in tasks, like, you know, you go and... Like, if half of them are turn-in, or like 2/3 are turn-in and 1/3 is like make-only. Only the make-onlys are going to be worth it, or the turn-ins that are like tier 3 or higher. Because otherwise, you pretty much want to keep all the potions for yourself. Because they'll have better value using them than turning them in for a little bit of silver. You can confirm that the max water bucket stack is 999? Oh gosh. People actually filled 999 buckets. That's kind of crazy. If I was to do that, that's definitely an off-stream activity. I don't think I'm even going to need that much, honestly. Based on where our mining level is, I don't think we're going to use more than like 300 buckets on our way to max mining. Like, I don't even think I need 999. I guess you would technically do it post-max if you really wanted to, just for some quick ore knowledge. But, I don't know, doing it post-max doesn't seem as useful. There's some bounty systems that do feel like they'll be worth it post-max, like smithing and merchant. But I don't think mining's going to be one of them, honestly. Unless you just really need some ore in a pinch, and you don't want to have to pay for it. Because you might as well get the free extra knowledge while mining the ore you need. But aside from that, I don't think this is one you would do post-max. And I should only need like 300-400 water buckets to get this to max level. Maybe even less than that. Okay, so far today we used like, what, 2? Like every bounty set looks like you're using about 1 or 2 on average. So even if you use 2 every single time you got bounties. Yeah, that's only like 300-ish water buckets then. At least from my current level. Obviously it'd be a lot more if you had lower level mining. But yeah, if you were starting from milestone 1, you actually would probably legitimately at some point need 999 water buckets. So doing it would actually be legitimately needed. If you wanted to do them all up front. Kind of like how you could do the gas up front up to 1,000. You could do your buckets up front up to 999. Because yes, if you're milestone like 1, 2, maybe even 3 for mining, you might legitimately need 999 water buckets over the course of your account. Or is it this high of a mining level, we're definitely not going to need that many. But yeah, what does the wiki say for the EXP rate on Cabernet? Let me go check that real quick. Do they have some kind of weird respawn rate that I'm not aware of? Because why is Cabernet so much worse than... So I'll let that load. That might take a second. But why is Cabernet just so much worse in every parameter than iron ore? I can't get over why it's so bad. Can this open, please? Refresh, go. Alright, I want to go to... no, not create account. Trying to search for mining bounty. I mean, not mining bounty. I mean, I'm looking for, no, I forgot what I'm looking for. No, I'm looking for, mining. I just want the mining XP rate for Cabernet. Oh, I hear ore. Let me go get that before it respawns. I'll wait for this to respawn real quick. Anyways, what am I doing? I came here to double check our XP rate. Somewhere's in here. So right over here, Cabernet. Yeah, look. Iron ore is 6.6 according to Wiki. And this is only 6 mil. Why is Cabernet so bad? They both have the same respawn rate. You can tell because it's 557 and 557. Why is Cabernet so bad? You need basically max wood cutting to get the special ingots from it to get all the free XP, compared to iron ore, which only needs level 75 wood cutting instead of level 475. So max wood cutting compared to like barely any. And on top of that, even not counting those ingots, you still get more XP and value from iron ore per hour. Because Carbonice is worth less, and it's less XP, and it's less knowledge. It's less everything. Why is it so bad? Like, yes, it is better smithing XP, I believe. That's like the one thing I was going for. It's like a little bit more smithing XP compared to iron. But even that, I think, is barely so. Like, if we go compare it real quick compared to the thing, let me go check it. I believe that's the only thing I was going for, but even that's like barely better. Because we're competing between these two. Let me double check. It's whatever one is higher of these two compared to Rapier. So, 59k or... So it's 59k versus... 59k! It's the same rate! Wait. Why is it so bad? And you have to use gas for this for only like 200 extra? Why is it so bad? Yeah, Carbonice is just worse iron ore in like every possible metric. The only reason you would ever take it is because of Carbonice smithing bounties. Or for Carbonice mining bounties. But otherwise, you would literally never take this. It is so horrifically bad. You need what max woodcutting to get ingots. It's worse XP. It's worse knowledge. It's worse money. The only thing I was going for is it's like 1% more smithing XP. But you have to use gas instead of no gas. So even in that regard, it might actually be lower if you count the time for getting gas. But yeah, it's so bad. Yeah, they might have just made the number too low or something. Carbonice is absurdly bad unless you're doing it on bounty. Mining bounty and smithing bounties are the only times you should ever be touching Carbonice for any reason. Otherwise, you run iron ore all the way to like Durabine or something. Unless you want stonemason supplies, which I did grab some earlier for stonemason. Grabbed a bunch of flint and basalt. But otherwise, the second you get to iron ore, you basically camp it all the way till like Durabine, I think. You still get some of the other ones if you need it just for some bounties and such. Like obviously you'd grab some amount of flint, you'd grab some basalt. Obviously you'd still grab some Carbonice even though it's worse than iron ore. But aside from the amount that you need for bounties, you wouldn't really grab much beyond that. Same as Deathstone. And I don't think mining gets better until Durabine then. Actually, we can check the wiki and it would even show us too. But I'm pretty sure mining doesn't get better till Durabine for two reasons. One is Durabine's not buyable from shops. But the other reason why Durabine is good is I'm pretty sure it's actually better XP. Because here's Durabine. And here's iron. Wow, it's even worse. Wait. You technically don't get an actual improvement until Platinum's at 36. That's crazy. Though it's Durabine would still be worth it though, in the sense of it's an unbuyable material. So whatever you grab is the total amount you ever have. Well, I guess unless you have trading you know, enabled. But if you don't have trading enabled, whatever you grab is the total amount you ever have. Like you can't buy it from a shop even if you want to. So even though Durabine's like still a few % less XP than iron, you'd still probably want to do it over iron just because you'd want to have more of it banked. Because you need shields constantly. Like even right now I need shield, which is what I need the Durabine for. So even though it's worse mining XP, you would still grab it because it's better smithing XP and you need it because you can't buy it from shop. And even if you have trading enabled, it probably sells better than iron ore. I'm not sure how much better because I haven't bothered with the trading economy. I'm probably going to make our third profile have trading enabled. I still haven't set them in stone yet. But for our main account, we're doing Lone Wolf, obviously. For our middle account, I'm considering also going Lone Wolf just in case I want like an early to mid-game iron. Or, you know, not iron ore, but, you know, Iron Man account, you know, Lone Wolf account. And then the Hammer Mage is probably going to enable trading. I haven't done that yet, but it likely will enable trading. Just so that we can engage some with the trading economy and everything whenever we feel like it. I don't feel like I'd be doing it much, but just so we can experience it and not have like 3 Iron Man accounts, I'll probably do that later down the line. The only reason I've been holding off on it is I kind of want to see what they do with trading in the future, what more they do. Like once they add dungeons, what are tradable items from it, what aren't. Same as just other stuff in general in the future. So I kind of want to hold off a little bit before I commit to 2 accounts. But currently the plan is Lone Wolf for the main account, Lone Wolf for the middle account, which will be like our early mid-game Lone Wolf instead of our end-game one like this one. And then the other one will be our trading enabled like mid-game account. So we could skip a bunch of grinds and get progress on it pretty quickly. Also probably the main other account that we do bossing on potentially. since we'd be able to try boss drops immediately if it's day 1 and it's like really rare or something, we could just buy it on it. Or see if anyone has a spear they might want to give us. Depending on how rare it is or otherwise. Because that account is like dirt poor right now. That's the only problem with enable trading on it, is it has nothing to trade. It has like nearly negative cash on it right now. Obviously that would change in the future. At its current moment in time, it is nearly negative money. Like if that cash stack could go negative, it probably would be negative right now. Also because it was trying to passive stonemason. And passiving stonemason is so expensive. Like this account has like infinite money at this point, so it's not that big a deal. But doing on an alt account that isn't really money making much is very expensive to try to run those passives. Oh, we got a geode. Blacksmithing one. Also, we got, what? 20 minutes to the next bounty set? 15 minutes. And then we'll go do a set of all the bounties again. But yeah, I still don't understand why Cabernet is so bad. But long story short, iron ore is basically optimal all the way till Flatinium. Or until Durbean if you want to get a bunch of Durbean. You still want to grab some amount of all of them along your way. But something doesn't become definitively better than iron until level 36. So basically half your mining levels is literally just iron. I'm not sure if they're going to balance that a little bit better in the future. Obviously you have bounties and stuff like that, like what we were just added today. And some amount of the other ones you'd still want to get just because you need them for first time bonuses and just for bounties for other skills between stonemason and smithing. But from a purely EXP perspective, it's basically iron ore. Basically the way that you go through mining these days is you have to do the green one from the previous tier all the way until you get to the next ore. So you basically do Adathril all the way until you get flint. You then do flint all the way until you can do iron. Then you do iron all the way to Flatinium. And then you do each upgrade as they come. As I believe granite does beat out Flatinium and Adathril then beats up Flatinium again. But otherwise, you spend... How many levels is that then? You spend 27 levels doing iron. More than half the levels for mining is iron ore only. That's a lot of iron ore. It converts really well into smithing XP though. And one thing that's really nice about iron ore as well, aside from it being more in the main district of the area and not have to be in the middle of nowhere. But the other thing that's good about iron is... Where's it going with this? Oh yeah, it doesn't use gas. So you never have to worry about like, you know, gas amounts or anything like you do with stonemason and half a smithing. It's one of them that doesn't use any gas at all, so you never have to waste time filling leeches. Which isn't a big deal, but, you know, that time starts to really add up if you're doing a ton of smithing. Because that's one of the big issues with the other furnaces, is not only do you use gas when you smith it, but you also use gas when you craft it into an item. So you basically double dip it, unlike stonemason, which you only have to do it when you, you know, etch the stone. So iron ore is a lot better in that way. The other good thing about iron ore, and particularly Flatinium, is they do make the best weapons for Cryonite. So if you are a Cryonite, it matters a bit more as well. Because your best one-handed weapon is from iron ore, and your best two-handed weapon is from Flatinium. Both of which are really good mining XP rate. Particularly iron. At this point, we're basically just trying to burn another 10 minutes so we can do a whole nother set of bounties. And then maybe that'll be the last set we do for now. I don't know, maybe we'll do another set. Since this is pretty much our send-off stream until we go away for 3 months. So if any of you have any questions or anything you want me to go over, let me know. Because I won't be able to live stream where I'm going. And we're not getting back until late August. But once we get back for the rest of the end of August, we'll go and catch up on all the updates. Do it like 1 month at a time per day, where we go over everything. And then by September, we should be completely back to normal Brighter Shores schedule, where every single launch day we're just streaming whatever comes out. And since we're getting ever so slightly closer to 1.0, maybe we'll start doing some guide videos here and there. There's definitely some stuff I eventually want to make guides on. Like an entire Minds of Matubin guide, because I want to fully max out a chapter before I ever make a guide on it. But I kind of want to wait closer to 1.0. Other things are things like how to do the filtration puzzle, for anyone that might still need help with that or anything. And just kind of general guides like that. Obviously, we'll also do bossing guides whenever they come out. Dungeon guide would probably have to be a pretty big one we'll have to cover at some point whenever that is finally a thing. I just don't really want to cover a guide and it becomes irrelevant like months later because they keep changing the game drastically constantly. Like, there's no point in doing a combat guide right now because they're just going to overhaul it like at least 2 more times probably. Between special attack, skill tree, and to some degree, technically even Chapter 6 would overhaul it, though we can't wait all the way until then. Like, Chapter 6 should be adding enhancements to the game, which is really going to change gear progression. Because right now it's basically, you know, just craft biggest thing, biggest number. The only thing you really have for progression is rarity for the most part. And I guess technically the roll, you'd want to have a higher roll if you're utilizing something. Like for this blue, we'd ideally want a 89 to 85% or so. Having a lower one like this or one as low as like 70% is pretty bad. Hopefully they'll have a way to modify that as well. That's one thing I'm really curious about when they do add the rarities. I wonder if it'll make it easier to get higher rolls. Because so far the update thing just says rarity, but will rarity also make it more likely that you can get better rolls? Because currently there's some random rolls that you can get on defensive stats, but those don't matter as much. The main ones that really matter are the random roll that you can get for elemental weapons. Particularly for the main elemental weapons that each class has. As having a high 80% is way better than having a low 70%. And I'm hoping that the rarity update makes it so it's more likely to roll the higher percents. We don't know for sure until the first one comes out. And unfortunately I'll be gone when it happens. It's happening in a few weeks or something. I think 2 weeks from now? Or 3 weeks? Whenever it is. I think it was for smithing is the next one we're getting, or the first one we're getting. But they're adding smithing soon, then stonemason a little bit after, and bone right, while not announced yet, should be early July or so. Like sometime in July. The reason I say that is we're getting bone right synergy at the end of like mid-June. And that means bone right bounties, or bone right rarity increase should be 2 weeks after that. It's not confirmed yet, but it's very likely, based on how they've been doing the updates. Hello, Michael! Are we Guardian? No, we end up going Cryo Knight. We do have one of every class, though. What are we doing right now? We're mining a bunch of iron ore, trying to wait out the bounty timer. So we can go do more mining bounties, as well as all the bounties from the chapter. We're mostly just waiting out the mining bounty timer. We're trying to get some good mining XP while we wait. And of course all this will convert to smithing XP and money later. Also, this is about 1.1 gold an hour, by the way. Smithing it. So technically mining this is currently 5.5 gold per hour. Or sorry, not 5.5. I mean, how would you say that? 5.5. No, that's still wrong. It's 55% of 1 gold. It's 550 silver. Because if you break down the time of mining this for 1 hour, and then the time of smithing this for 1 hour, well, then again, I guess smithing time's a little bit quicker. So it's not quite that. It goes to like 600 or 700 silver an hour, roughly. Counting mining time. Like, somewhere's around there. Is what we get from doing this. It's nothing crazy, obviously. Ideally, if you're doing a moneymaker, you want it to be multiple gold an hour. Oh no, like 600 or 700 silver an hour is not too bad. Given that you're getting XP for every single skill. Also, notably mining and smithing. But because how the ores work, you are getting it for every skill in the chapter. For how much XP you're getting, it's not that bad. It's definitely not the best money in the game, but you're getting a lot of really useful XP. Best money at the moment is definitely still in something like Merchant. Merchant, Detective, once it gets buffed at some point, is once it gets some buffs, whatever those buffs are, will probably make it actually worth doing money. But at this exact moment in time, I would say Merchant and, honestly, just Merchant is probably the best money maker. Merchant and Combat, I would say, are probably the overall best two. Combat, because everything you touch just prints money, especially if you bank everything. And Merchant, because it just gives you straight cash while having no tool or anything else requirement. Thank you, Michael. Greatly appreciated. If anyone else has any other questions, let me know. Because we're going to be gone for 3 months. And then we'll be back to doing the weekly streams every single time. I wish I could do it while I'm gone. I'm just not sure my connection and everything will be able to do it. I also won't have anything near my normal setup while I'm there. So unfortunately, I probably won't be able to do it while I'm there, but it won't take longer than like a week to catch up on them once we get back. And then by September, we should be completely back to normal schedule. But it feels weird going on an actual vacation. I haven't been on like a real vacation in, I don't think, my entire adult life. Like, I've definitely gone on trips that lasted for a week or something. But it was mostly just to, like, see family or something similar. And occasionally, like, a friend, maybe for a couple days or something. And this is, like, my first, like, proper vacation. As well as my first time, like, technically out of the country. I've been to Canada a few times, but I barely count that as out of the country. Mostly because I carred into it. And it was still with family, so I wasn't going there as, like, a trip just to, you know, sightsee or anything. But Greece is wholesome. I know, I'm really looking forward to it. It'll be my first time out of the country, not counting Canada. As well as my first time in Europe. As well as my first time overseas. As anytime I went to Canada, it was always by car. This is the first time I'm flying. And I did get the flight before the prices went up as well. It was still pretty pricey. It was a little over 1,000, like 1,050 between tax and everything. But the same ticket today is like 1,700 because the Iran war and everything. But because I was following the news, literally the night the Iran war started, I bought the ticket because I knew prices were going to skyrocket, and they did. They went up like over 50%. So I was already able to save like over 600 bucks for the trip, which is nice, which will go towards food and everything. And I shouldn't spend that much. Counting flight and everything, I should over the 3 months only spend like $3,000 to $4,000. Most of my money's already converted into euros as well. And I did that so I wouldn't have to pay transaction fees on everything. There's still a one-time fee at my bank, but it was only like $8, which isn't that bad. Compared to having to pay a fee every time you swipe your card. Plus any ATM fees they might have. But I made sure to do that so I'd avoid all the fees. I'm going to be buying from grocery stores most of the time, so we'll cut down food costs. Housing and transportation is mostly handled while I'm there, so that won't be too much. I'll be putting some towards it, but that shouldn't be more than like 500 to 600 or so. So the entire time for a 3-month trip is pretty much just going to cost me for what it costs to live here. Like, my expenses aren't really going to be that much higher. Like 3 months is going to be like 4,000 bucks. With a 4 for that just being getting there for the plane. Like, it's pretty much the exact cost of living I would have just living here. You know, just doing normal day-to-day stuff. Yep, thank you, thank you. Oh yeah, that was something else that happened earlier too. Of course, Josh Strife Games covered one on Brighter Shores being dead. But some other YouTuber actually covered that too. That was pretty big. I forget their name. But they just posted a video last night or yesterday on Brighter Shores being dead. Which I still find kind of funny. Because the dev team's still, you know, developing it. They have the money to be at a loss for several years if they truly had to. Since they're just doing it as a passion project. And between the devs still doing weekly updates and still having a passionate player base, I don't know, I feel like the game's still far from being dead. As far as like what a standard game is considered these days, as far as player base needed to survive, I guess you could kind of consider it dead. Since obviously 200 player base or so, you know, concurrent, isn't quite enough to support an MMO forever. But, I don't know, the game's still being developed, still an active player base. Still been enjoying it myself personally. As long as they keep the servers up and keep updating it, I would still keep playing it. We mentioned that's pretty much since day one as well. Like, regardless what the player number went to or anything, as long as they keep developing it and keep the servers up, we'll still be around. Even that number drops to 100, we'll be here. The wiki's wrong. Carbonese is faster respawn than iron. Okay, that makes sense then. Okay, thank you. 0. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, that's why you gotta test things. There's just been a lot of stuff wrong in the wiki before. But in all fairness, I didn't personally ever bother testing that either. But that makes sense. Why the XP rate is, or why Carbonese is so much lower than. I still feel like Iron Ore is better though. At least in the sense that we get geodes. Like if we were getting geodes for both, then I'd be like, okay, yeah, we might want to go to Carbonese then. But the fact that you basically need max woodcutting to get geodes for Carbonese is kind of bad. Compared to Iron Ore getting it pretty much immediately. Actually, it's literally the first upgrade. Like, the very first upgrade you get from woodcutting is Iron Ore. Compared to the other one being at Milestone 9, level 25. The wiki's always wrong? Honestly, I have found that to be the case most of the time. It's probably because they don't have too many people updating it and everything. Like, a lot of their alchemy numbers were really, really wrong. Mostly because it doesn't put into consideration some of the higher strats you could do. Like with the juggling and everything. Also, it doesn't have anything for the new doubling mechanic either. Which at max level, I think is almost like, what, an extra 50 potions an hour? Like if you have tier 9 smithing, which we'll have in somewhat near future. We'll probably get it this summer while I'm away. Between passives, bounties, and, you know, just getting knowledge points. Because, honestly, smithing bounties is so quick for knowledge points. Speaking of which, we need to go get all of our bounties now. It's about that time. But, what was I going on about? Something. But, yeah, hopefully the wiki will eventually be accurate on some things. But if in doubt, just test it yourself, and that's the best way to go about it. It's just a little bit harder because there's not a knowledge tracker per hour, nor a XP tracker per hour. So it's a little bit harder to track something since those tools aren't in the game yet. It's stuff I hope they eventually add. I hope it's one of these bubbles in the future as well. Like one of these empty bubbles. I hope it has like XP tracker, knowledge tracker, other tracker, maybe even money tracker. Like if you're doing a moneymaker method, it can track how much money you're selling per hour. Like to shops or whatever else. But, or how much money you're obtaining through resources. Like if I'm getting like 500 iron ore in an hour or whatever the number is. It would tell me how much my value is. In like high price, mid price, low price. The high price is the only one I care about because that's the actual shop selling price. But hopefully one of those bubbles will be a statistics analyzer in the future. So you could track XP rate, money rate, knowledge rate, other stuff. Because right now it's really annoying to do in the current state of the game. Because you have to manually track it. But hopefully it'll be some kind of in-game feature in the future. Anyways, let's go to our bounties. It should be about that time. Actually, I could just teleport what I have. Let's go head over there. It is time! It's 5 minutes the after hour, which means bounty time! Let's go grab a bunch. None of the mining bounties are right here. I kind of want to go to smithing first, just to clear out whatever we have to go craft real quick. Let's see. What do we got here? Oh yeah, got 20 seconds anyways. Alright. Let me go process some of this mining stuff, or smithing stuff. And then we'll go check the bounty board. And then we'll go make whatever things we need to go do, turn in whatever we need to go turn in. And then we can go grab our bounties from northeast, which is probably going to be the main area I think we're always going to grab it from, honestly. Is we grab our smithing bounties, do our smithing bounties, turn in all of our smithing bounties, grab our mining bounties from over there. And then we cycle back into the other ones. And then while doing mining bounties or stonemason bounties, we should cycle into getting to boneright bounties to go check them. And just do it that way. Alright, let me do these other 10 that we have on us. Craft anything related to iron that we got to go do right now. Clear out anything for smithing that we could do really quickly that are worth doing. And then go grab all the new mining bounties. And hopefully we can get some higher rarity ones. We haven't seen anything higher than a 2 times. Though I don't think any of them get special mechanics for being higher, just better knowledge and XP rate and everything. Which is still good though, of course. It's getting really close to that next smithing level. Tier 9 is the main one we care about, just because we get max speed on alchemy, and I do want that before I start training alchemy again. I do want to have max speed doubling. Mostly because this helps a lot with spamming standard potions. And one thing that Forager gives you is a lot of standard potion ingredients. Nearly everything that you get from it is standard. Enrage potion is standard. Healing potion is standard. Hope Port potion is standard. Strength for blue and yellow is standard. The only thing that you get for all of Forager that isn't standard is the potent fire potion. But that's the one that you have to... whoa, what is this rarity? Wow, we got lucky. What? Wow, that is some insane luck. What is this? I'll grab that once we grab the other thing. Wow. We got 1 4 times and 2 3 times. Unfortunately, one of them's a shield, which is kind of annoying because I can't do shields yet until my mining level's higher. But, wow. Where's our knowledge bar at? Okay, let me do the other ones first. So let me do this one last, so I can craft all the other ones first. And I gotta keep 2 on me to go turn in. The reason I want to do it like this is so we could use the 10% better. But, wow, that was some nice turn in right there. Alright, so we'll go turn in all these, do all the mining bounties. Once we go cycle through mounting, we'll go see if Stonemason has anything. At some point, we'll be able to go cycle through Boneright if there's anything there. We should be good to go then. Also, some of these smithings will get recycled since we do have the shiny ones at the moment. But we're eventually going to get blocked off shields. You can very easily track all without a built-in tracker. Yeah, you just have to keep track of your starting number and your starting time and track it that way. I still find that really annoying to do compared to just having a thing in game that does automatically, though. But it's not that hard to track it. It just takes effort rather than the game doing it automatically. There's a lot of things in this game have very consistent spawn cycles and, you know, just normal cycles in general. So all you really need to know is how long the cycle takes and then just multiply it out. Like how long does the minute, 2-minute cycle take, figure out what that XP is and, you know, just make it go for an hour. You don't even have to test it necessarily for a full hour. You just figure how much knowledge and XP you're getting for one cycle, then see how many cycles you could do per hour and then just, you know, multiply it. So you can figure it out in like 5 minutes for anything. Obviously, there is some variance for it for like longer cycles and stuff. But generally, that's all you'd have to do, and you can figure it out in like 3 to 5 minutes for anything. Assuming every cycle does the exact same thing every time. The only thing you might have to factor in is doubling on tools and stuff, because those might not fall perfectly into cycle, depending on where your level range is. But you could also just not do it based on that and just count it as free XP on top of it. Alright, this is where I wanted to do the 10%. The only problem is I'm not going to get enough here, which is kind of unfortunate. I think we're going to have to waste it. I was hoping we could use the boost here. I was going to have to use the boost when we turn in instead. That's fine. Also nice, we had exactly enough as well. If I had one more of those, I would not be able to go craft it, but luckily we had the exact number of iron on us. I guess 2 spears, but pretty much exact. Alright, let me go grab whatever the other bounty is here, or go and get some synergy on these turn-ins. Double check if there's anything else we had to go grab. Make sure we don't over-encumber knowledge. Which I feel like I always do when doing bounties in this chapter. Especially on Filtration Station. Alright, shield I can't do, but I kind of want to. Grab it. But for now, let me just get the thing that actually matters. Alright, now we put away this junk. Let me grab this one first, because this one's actually doable within the timer. The other one's a little bit sketchy if we can get in on time. Alright, we gotta sell 3 of these, on only 3. Keep the other 2 for the bounty. Alright. Also, while I'm here, I can check to see what our mining bounties are going to be. Obviously, we can't grab any because we only have 6 slots. Let me go double check what every bounty is here. Just so we know where we're generally gonna have to be. To see if we have like a granite one here we can go take or something. Oh, nice! We got one high one. So we got flint, adithro, basalt, flat, and iron. Yeah, is there any problem with these bounties? They are kind of all over the place. I'm still gonna do them all though. Yeah, unfortunately, I can't grab any, but that tier 4 one's pretty nice. That 4x one. Alright, so what we want to do here is turn in for mean. Don't use an XP pot. Turn in for troll. Do use an XP pot. And then try to get the other one in and speed run over there. Alright, where's mean? I still haven't memorized where all these guys are. Probably should. Where's troll? Alright, so that's where I'll have to use the XP pot after. Go for the lowest level one. Alright, then we'll go XP pot in front of troll. Put that in the stonemason, turn into him. And then dash over so we can get faulty flow done before the XP pot runs out, hopefully. The only problem with that is that does mean we got to do faulty flow quick enough to get it done in that time. So we got to try not to use the stop button, but I'm probably going to need it just because it's kind of hard to do very hard faulty flow without stopping it. It's just normally worth the stop to make sure you don't have to use a rewind. Alright, we're on a timer now. Go, 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 go! Alright, put in the stonemason. Go, go, go. Alright, use item on. Boom. Attack the weakest one. That one. Go. Go, 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 go! We'll guarantee get it here. The question is, will we be able to get it in time for the other thing? Because we got to do a faulty flow within 1 minute. I think that's doable. By the time we get there. Alright, got that. No, I wanted to move while we're doing that. There we go. Let's see. So we'll go for stonemason. Alright, we got a little under 1 minute to do an entire faulty flow on max difficulty. What's the worst that can happen? I'm gonna have to skip the granite here. Normally I would go for 1 double. I know we still could. I feel like that would cost us precious like 3 seconds. I can't not touch it though. Give me that double. Alright, we got less than 1 minute to do faulty flow. Go! There's no way we get this. Alright, let's see. Go, 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 go! Wait, that's not even what I need. Go, 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 go! Wait, this is a pretty easy faulty flow, I do have to say. Though I say that, where's my corner one? Let's see. I need more vertical. Where's all my vertical at? Let's see. Let me click a stop soon. Where's my divide gonna have to go? Right over there. Alright, let me get the bottom right. So all we have to worry about then is to get everything we need for that one. I then need to get that one. Oh, I could have done that with the other move. I wasted some tiles there. Alright, let's make sure not to get any more of the basins. Because I've... Oh no, we're not gonna make it! No, we're not gonna make it. Oops, wrong spot. Rip. Oh well. We were like 5 seconds too slow. No! In all fairness, I think skipping the granite wouldn't make a difference there. Because we still have to wait for all this timer as well. Oh well. We're unable to double dip. Still got a million XP for it though. What was the other thing we needed? Gotta make the long path and whatever else is still on here. Oh, yeah, we also gotta do the other really quick one. Oh nice, that's a pretty good one. I won't turn that in right now though. But that one is worth doing. Alright, let me go double this again. This is pretty much required to double that every time you see it. Might as well. Feels like a waste not doing it if you're already out there. Alright, we gotta do the slightly longer one and then the quicker one, and then we can just go straight to mining bounties then. Alright, this one is fine. Have to go a little bit weird. Actually, we'll go a little wider. So we'll do that. Put that one over there. Actually, probably shouldn't do that yet. Because we're actually going to fail in a second. Let's see. We do that. There we go. Do that. Maybe I should extend this even further, honestly. I didn't realize it was so tight over here. Let me make it go all the way over here. That should be good now. Put that over there. We're going to need a flat over here. Alright, that should be fine. Oh, we could put that there. Put that there. Get another flat for... there, as we'll probably get by there by the time we get there. That goes over there to go connect it. This one goes over there so we can connect it. That one goes right there to connect it. Then we just need flats. So we put this over here, put that over there. Get the other one over here. That should be long enough. Sometimes I count it out just to be sure. I'm pretty sure that is fine though. We'll find out when it's one too short. If nothing else, we could extend this one over some and it would be fine. I still need one more vertical over there. And now we just need a ton of flats. We need like 7 flats now. Just want to curve this one weirdly. At some point we'll get a flat. There we go. Alright, and then we'll go check the mining bounties then. As this one and the other filtration should be the last one we need to get in. But the next one we have to do is the really easy quick one. Where you just have to turn a bunch of stuff. Even on max difficulty, it's still as free as it gets. It does give you the least XP of any of the bounties, but it kind of makes sense because it's just so free. It's a really nice one if you're trying to get an extra one in with the XP potion. Yeah, there we go. That should be everything. I assume that's long enough. We'll find out when it's not in a second. It should be fine. Please be fine. Yeah, it's fine. Barely. Yeah, we had like 2 extra. Easy enough. And then the rotate one is as free as it gets. Though it does give less XP, but still worth it for the knowledge points and everything. And a pretty free money for how quick it is. Especially with all the multipliers that you get on it. At least at max difficulty. Which we have at all of them except for tier 8 and tier 9. Tier 8's on 1 before max. And tier 9 we don't even have access to yet, so obviously we have no levels into it. Yeah, this one is as free as it gets. And it's really quick too, which is nice. Alright, there we go. Fortunately, you can't speed it up anymore. But you basically never need to stop time or rewind on it. Unless you make some kind of really dire mistake somehow. It almost never happens on this one. Alright, there we go. And we're out of here. Unless there's something else on the bounty board we gotta go clear real quick, as we do have the shiny bounties. And then we'll go check mining bounties then. Of course, the obligatory double on the 1 granite. And double check what we have here. Nothing. Okay, we're good to go. Alright, let's go and head over to, what, mining bounties? Go do some mining bounties then. I'll do the stonemason last. That's because we can grab them if we have to turn in any in the bone rate. So let's see what we have for bounties in this area. And then we'll go north to whatever we need to go to. Alright, so flint is huge. What else is in that area? Iron ore is over there. Basalt is over there. And Platinum's kind of over there, and then we just do the double Adather at the end, which we'll get from the bounty board on our way there. But yeah, that's a really big flint. 500k mining XP at this level range? It's not too bad. Doesn't seem as crazy as the smithing one, but it is just free XP on top of the mining you're already doing. Which you have to keep in mind for a lot of the smithing ones, it's actually accounting for what you're already making as well. Because this XP looks like a lot, like 856k, because it is a lot. But one thing to consider about that is that is counting the XP that you're getting from crafting the item, not just like the turn in at the end. Because what this isn't counting... Oh wait, I got a rich ore here. I gotta go grab the thing. Because what these aren't counting is all the XP that you're getting while you're mining the stuff. I guess this one is, but all these other ones are not accounting for it. So you're actually getting quite a bit more. Two things I gotta do while we're here. I gotta deposit, but I also need to grab the ash log. This should be the only one we need ash for, right? No, I need it for Flatinium as well. So maybe we'll go grab double timber real quick for when we go cycle over there. Alright, so I'm just gonna mine these normally. I want to see if we can get a double in time. So I'm gonna deliberately not mine the two that are adjacent to it, and see if there's enough time to still make the timer and grab the two ore that are next to it. I don't know this just for future sake, just so we know. This obviously won't work on stones, but I want to see if this works on ores where applicable. So if I do this, I want to see if I can mine all these and throw the water on it and still make it in time. So I want to mine this one. Want to mine this one. Oh no, you can't. Yeah, you can only do one, it looks like. Yeah, only one. That's fine though. Doing anything more than that's just not going to make it in time for when it's ready. Well, now we know. Alright, let me go store away all this iron. Though I'm going to have to do a weird juggle with the single ash log we have to make sure we don't deposit it. So one thing that's a little bit annoying about this is you do have to have like a weird ash log situation. Since of course it does take up inventory space. I do find it really funny that he added a fire making activity in a game that doesn't have fire making though. He still really wants to put fire making in the game. He just can't help himself. So at this point we're looking for a creature, and once he pops out we get like 500 something XP from him, which is huge. There he is. Mine. Got him. There we go. Oh, nice. It uses your pickaxe bonus. I never noticed that till just now. So I just got like almost 600k XP from it. Because our 12% bonus on our pickaxe actually applies to it. This is the only one I did above 25. I got to 35. And we have a 12% bonus, which actually does work on the mining bounty apparently. I didn't think it would. But yeah, I wasn't paying attention to that earlier. But yes, your pickaxe bonus does apply to these bounties. Which makes sense because you're using a pickaxe on it. I just wasn't sure if they were actually going to code it correctly. But, yeah, it does indeed work on the bounty, which is pretty huge. Because a lot of other bounties don't have a tool bonus. But these bounties actually do get boosted based on your pickaxe bonus. Yeah, we end up upgrading our pickaxe a little bit higher because we knew we'd do a lot in Mine to Batubin. And at this point, we're pretty much poised to go get maxed by, like, within a month once we get back. Between all the bounties and everything they've been adding. Alright, let's go and, let's actually go teleport over. Because what I want to go grab right now is double, Adathril bounty. So I get 10% to go grab both of them at once. So we can double dip it a little bit while we throw in the stonemason. This is not where I meant to teleport. That's also not where I want to teleport. I will eventually click the right button. Yeah, let's grab our double Adathril that we saw earlier. Store all this in the storage rift over here. Grab the bounty that's right next to it. Also, if you ever want a bank, well, I'm pretty sure the closest bank is still the Timberwood one. This one is now a lot better of a bank in the sense that you can grab mining bounties while going for it. I don't think that's going to make it good enough to use it over Timberwall, I don't know if you want a few mining bounties if you have the spots for it or something. Oh, I just end up putting away my my ash log again. That's fine though. Oh, I forgot to do basalt while I was over there. No, wait. Oh well, that's fine. I guess I could walk there now that we have the bridge. I'll just walk there from Flatnium. That would normally be way too far of a walk, but now with the bridge, it's actually not that bad. I was mentioning that earlier when it came out too. Like the only thing we're going to use that bridge for is mining bounties. And here we are using the bridge for mining bounties. I had a feeling it would be the case. Oh, we already got it. Easy. Oh, that was quick. Oh, that actually proves something. The ore that you get while double dipping a bounty does count towards the bug progress. So that's a confirmation on that. We finally got to see it. So we were at 3 out of 7. So the 2 that you get from doing the bug doesn't give you progress, of course. But the 7 that you're doing for the other bounty does count towards the possibility of spawning a bug. Because I wasn't sure on that because it hasn't happened yet, but that's the first time it happened, so there we go. Alright, so now we've seen basically everything with it. So let's go back, go do our basalt, go do our Flatnium. And that should be everything we need then. Actually, you know what? I'm actually going to do a teleport here. We're going to do a fancy teleport to the middle of nowhere. Because there is a slightly quicker way to get to where I want to go right now. Which I almost never use. Because it feels like it should be slower, but actually is quicker. You teleport to chapter 1. Use the little shortcut here that has a small woodcutting requirement. Double it because why not? And then you're already in like the mines right next to basalt. I'm going to use this to get the basalt and then we'll walk over to Flatnium. It's a little bit quicker than going the other way. Since we were going to have to teleport anyways. Just slightly quicker. Alright, let's go grab basalt until we find... actually, no, I don't need to find a bug. I just gotta mine some of it. Honestly, the mine only task seemed like the worst one. Mostly because the other 2 are so good. Both the bug that they added as well as the fire thing. Which kind of leaves the mine only a little bit behind. Comparatively. And then we get to use the new bridge to go ahead over to Flatnium then. Oops, a little early. And since we used the double, mining 7 is actually exact here. Since there's a bank over here, I guess we'll use the bank. So given that we're taking the scenic route, do we get a free bank going over there? We do. I'm just going to use the free bank. Because it's closer than doing the other one. So we actually get to use the bridge for once! The new bridge that came out the other week or two. With that new Fractured Reality quest. Which honestly is probably among one of my favorite quests now. Even though I didn't have a boss fight or anything, I really liked the puzzle. It was pretty cool. And the rewards for it were amazing. Like, the rewards were so good that this bridge that everyone was asking for so long was, like, the least useful reward of the entire quest. Like, probably the most requested thing for this chapter was, like, the least useful reward from the quest out of anything. Which is kind of funny. Alright, let me grab these 3 while we're already over here. Also because I have exactly 3 inventory, so why not? And then I gotta go re-grab our ash log that I accidentally stored earlier. And then we can go and do this ore. Yeah, from what I can tell, honestly, I don't think it is worth doing the tier 1 for anything you're not already mining. After doing these mining bounties for a little bit now, it does seem like you kind of want tier 2 and above. But if anything else, that's kind of where most bounties are sitting in the current state of the game. Where, like tier 1, it's worth it only if you're already going to be doing it. Tier 2 is normally always worth it, and tier 3 or higher is literally always worth it regardless of skill. Alright, where's this vein? Also, luckily we do have the pickaxe upgrade for these 2, which would be great because this is where we get our best in slot weapon in the current state of the game for Cryonite. And now we know we have exactly enough time to do 1 vein. So we'll mine this one. We'll mine this one. We'll use the item of the ash log on this one. And we know we have exactly enough time to grab this. As well as the ore if it does a little ore here. We did not do an ore. Now we're ready. Throw the bucket. Grab the ore. And since we're in the area, give me some more Flatnium. Alright, there we go. And that is every mining bounty depleted. I guess we can go check out Stonemason real quick. And go grab that. And then go and double check bone right. And then unless we want to go install for another set, I guess we might just call it there then. Which I might not even take the bone right bounties and just go and set up our AFK there once we go check stonemason thingies. But overall verdict on mining bounties, really good. Every gathering skill should be like this, where none of them are turn in ore to location. They are all just either unique activities or are stuff where you don't have to turn in the ore. You get to keep every single one of them, so you can actually use it for smithing, stonemason, stuff like that. If anything, I hope they go back and change that for fishing and make it so every single gathering skill is like that. Like when they do forager bounties and, you know, all the other ones. Well, most notably botanist bounties. Because, gosh, we need botanist help. I need help on botanist. But mostly because all the rewards for it are so bad. Honestly, that's one where turning it in honestly wouldn't even be that bad. Just because the skills already gives you so much useless supplies. But overall, mining bounties, yeah, they're pretty good. Because you get to keep all the material and everything. It's most ideal when you're already doing it for something that you're turning in, though. But overall, not that bad. Infernae, the only problem with this is I'm not sure I have the thing for it. Like the supplies. I also forget what you even need for it. I remember the other one. Other one's granite. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm starting to remember some of these. That one's granite. Shield is obviously Deathstone. Based on what level you want. So I think I need 6 of them. Can I do it with 5? I think I could do it with the 5 shield. The problem is I forget what you need for Infernae at this level range, or even just in general. Infernae has... Oh yeah, you could do granite again. I could just do 6 granite. Never mind. That's easy. I forgot that granite counts for it too. Alright, there we go. That should be everything we need. That's not what I wanted. Alright, this makes both our 2 tools. Wait, never mind. It's not granite. Oh, it's andesite, isn't it? Never mind. It's not granite. Oh, that's why I wasn't making it earlier. I have like 0 andesite because it's really annoying to mine. Out of any of the stones, it's probably the worst stone to do. Unless you have it like on mining bounty or something. But yeah, it's not granite. Oh no. That's why I didn't bother doing it earlier. I think I have 0 andesite banked. And I'm pretty sure both the fire weapons require, if I'm not mistaken. Which is why I keep skipping fire. Also because it's in the middle of nowhere with toads. Yeah, that's the problem. It's literally locked behind the andesite thing or whatever it's called. And that's a problem because I have almost none. I say that, I actually do have enough to go make it real quick. I think it requires 6 these days, which is kind of annoying. Also, I did Deathstone again on accident. Whoops. There we go. Is this high enough level? I sure hope it is. Find out when it's not. Hopefully that satisfies what he wants, though. It should be, yeah. Based on that level, that's definitely high enough. Alright, and then all we have to do... Oh, sorry, I looked at the wrong one. That's still high enough, though. Now we'll go make the shield, and we're good to go. Shield I don't want to turn in quite yet, though. Because I'd want to do that when we turn in for the other thingy. Which I guess we could go do that right now, too, if we really wanted to. The green guy's all the way in the middle of nowhere. Fire guy's also kind of in the middle of nowhere. The other 2 we can do synergy on, or the other 3. So maybe we'll try doing that. Alright, what am I coming here for? Shield. Alright, just give me a normal shield, it's fine. Is the other one more XP? I didn't even notice that. No, it's not. This is a better shield. And you don't want to do the one that requires 6 because it just gives you barely any extra XP for costing a whole extra stone. Unless it specifically tells you to craft it, you really shouldn't be crafting it. It wastes more stone than it's worth. Alright, so we go turn in all 3 of these. I go make this thing in the corner so I can go turn that in. I then use a 10% EXP pot of this guy so we could turn in this, this, and this. And should hopefully be able to get all 3 of those in a 10%. We could definitely get in 2 of those. And then I guess we go back to passiving our stonemason. That's the main thing we're throwing passive into. And bone right, probably. Just because passives are so good for it. Alright, what am I doing here? I was turning in the fire guy, and then I was going to go teleport over, make the thing we need for smithing, then go turn in everything on smithing. And then we should be good to go. And that should be every bounty we could bother with right now. Now, overall, now that this chapter fully has all of its bounty systems, you can kind of start to see the kind of synergies that other future chapters will have. Where, you know, you'll like turn in a bounty in one location, and there'll be like a bounty board right next to it. You then go do those bounties, so on and so forth, kind of synergy. As a lot of the synergy that you can end up getting if you want to train that way is, you know, cycle whatever the bounty board cycle is for a given chapter. And this is the first chapter where we know what the full bounty board cycle is. Like, you'll turn in on this guy, you'll go double check your bounties here. You might be able to go mine something if you didn't already do all of them on your path to go turn in these other 2. Like, for example, turning in this green one, you go past the Flatnium. So if we had to go do the one ash log on the Flatnium like we just did, we'd be able to pass it for free. We wouldn't even have to go out of your way. You'd be able to 0 time it and stuff like that. So you can kind of get those kind of synergies where you turn in this guy, you turn to this board, you go and get your synergy while turning in this other item. You do the item for free without having to go out of your way at all. And stuff like that. Starts that up. And you just get a bunch of XP just for clearing them out. Like, they're not necessarily bounties you would do all the time, especially at tier 1. But you can get synergy like that. Even at tier 1, they're probably worth doing. As you're syncing up like 3-4 different bounties at once to get better value. Alright, let's go make this one last thing, and then we'll probably bring him to a Stonemason AFK. But yeah, it really makes me curious to see what they're going to do for other chapters now. Because obviously, you know, this chapter's probably going to be done for bounties for a while. They might add new activities to them eventually, but as far as, you know, the core bounties, this chapter is probably not getting any progress in that regard for quite a while. Wait, what am I doing? I already have enough. I should already have some made. Yeah, give me those. Just so we can save some time here real quick. Alright, let me go make this one single thing, and then we'll go do our 4 turn-in. Going to shield. Actually, maybe I'll do ring first. It would make more sense to do ring first. Because normally I would do it the other way around if I had a bunch of stuff to turn in. But since I only have 1 turn-in, I should do the kobold first, then shield, then try to make it in time to turn in green guy. I think is going to be our plan here. The only slight issue with this is I'm only going to get a double knowledge point, not double dip. That's fine. We're multiplying a bunch of things with 2 times 3 times multiplier. Alright, there we go. Teleport to Mine Deep again. Save this one for later. Though I don't want to actually click the Save Later button. Because we want to keep this interface up. Well, not like keep it up, but we want it to pop up when we go to our next knowledge thing. And if I click Save Later, it's not going to pop up once we turn in this to the Kazakh guy. So we turn in the Kazakh, we turn in Shield guy, and then we go turn in the other thingy. And if we didn't do that bounty earlier, we could have done the Flatinium bounty there too. Alright, so we wanted to go do this guy. Drink the 10%, which I need to go make more of. I have like 0. Struggle of not doing combat in this area since the milestone update like months ago. Kill the blue one. Alright, let's see if we can make this in time. I'm actually not sure if we can. I sure hope we can. I haven't done this exact route in a while. I feel like if you can, it like barely makes it. Because I could have sworn I've done this before. Going for this triple. Like, you definitely make it, but you have like 5 seconds to spare. Like, maybe just enough to grab double granite if we wanted. Alright, turn in on this guy. Use item. Oh yeah, I was wondering why that didn't pop up. I didn't actually mean to use that XP that we just did earlier. I meant to do that after the pop-up so we could have interface walked with it. That's fine. It's not that big a deal. It wastes like 1 second doing it that way. Compared to if we were able to walk while doing it. Alright, we'll grab this one ore, because I think we have enough time that's not going to hurt anything. Honestly, I think we could even grab multiple. I think we have enough time. Yeah, so it'll build a little bit less tight than I thought. Which is good, more ore for us. But I shouldn't dilly-dally too much, we still got to make it there in time. Ooh, give me that. Sparkling bone, right? I think that's enough. Don't want to overstay and miss the 10% on this. It's only for 2x, but you know, still helpful. Use item on. Alright, bounties delivered. And of course, if we wanted that multi-synergy, that one ore that we just did during this, we could have done that right here. I could have brought the ash log with me. I could have taken that. Could have even gotten it in within the 10% as well, if I wasn't dilly-dallying on the granite and everything. But if we didn't do that earlier, we could have just done the triple, and then got the 4th of the ore off the wall as well. So we could have gotten some really good value. Could have gotten 4 different bounties in one go, if we didn't already claim that earlier. Alright, let's go store all this in the bank, and I guess we'll bring him to his passive then. Unless anyone has any last minute questions. Otherwise, yeah, we unfortunately will not be back until basically the end of August. As far as Brighter Shores stream, or any streams for that matter. Other than like the Slate Gems of War streams we're doing until then. But as far as Brighter Shores is concerned, next Brighter Shores stream is like last week of August. So we'll try at the end of August, try to catch up on everything we missed over the next 3 months. Once we come back from Greece. And then, yeah, we'll go from there. And then by the time we get to September, we should be back to normal schedule, where every update day we go over, mess around with everything, you know, go from there. But yeah, we'll be gone into Greece for the next 3 months. But once we get back, we'll spend 1 week catching up on all the updates we missed. And then by September, we should be back to completely normal schedule, doing the stream every single time there is any new content to go over. And of course, we will eventually do mass grind streams again at some point in the future. I'll be doing those most likely once there's stuff actually worth grinding again. Like, you know, like mega grinding. I mean, things like dungeon, things like if they end up doing a combat rework, things like PvP if they ever added it. Though I probably wouldn't do too much PvP beyond the first week. I'd probably go pretty heavy on it initially. This is like a reward shop for it or mini games for it in the future. And, you know, anything in that kind of frame where, you know, we don't want to grind it out for like weeks or even, you know, week or weeks. But otherwise, we'll just keep covering the daily updates as they happen. Still keep grinding here and there, just trying to get these numbers up. By the time I come back from the trip, I expect to be at least milestone 9 and everything in Mines of Batubin, as well as bare minimum milestone 7 for Alchemy, and hopefully get like 100-something combat levels so we can get all that out of the way so we can be like fully set up for Alchemy. During that time, I'll also be doing ventures for cinnamon sticks, or, you know, for all the Chronopolis potions plus the fish. The fish is so we can get to tier 8 so that we get better smithing rarity, I think it's used for, or something in like in a couple weeks. And then the other thing we'd get from that is a ton of alchemy supplies so that we could put that for free alchemy XP, which all those potions we would then be able to use for the eventual Chronopolis push. I don't really plan to push Chronopolis until closer to Chapter 5 coming out, mostly because of Leatherworker, obviously, or, you know, Merchant into Leatherworker. But depending on what some of the buffs are for Detective, maybe we'll start using them for that, if nothing else. Because Detective could be a good money-making skill once it gets whatever the buff is that's coming in like a month and a half. We have no clue what it is, but it might be a big enough of a buff, especially with the fact that you get bounties that have higher rarities for it now. Those two in combination might actually make it so it's worth training Detective properly again. But I don't know, we'll have to wait and see exactly what that ends up doing. But anyways, guys, I will see you guys in about 3 months. Best of luck in Brighter Shores. And yeah, we'll cover everything once we get back. Otherwise, yeah, we should be getting 2 new quests during that time. One for Chapter 4, one for Chapter 2. We should be getting a rarity increase for all skills in Chapter 3. We should be getting a few more bounty systems like Alchemy and whatever other ones are adding. Alchemy is the only one that's confirmed at this point. And a bunch of other stuff like that. And we'll go over all that once we come back. Anyways, guys, hope you have a wonderful summer, and I will see you guys in a few months. Goodbye, everyone, and thanks for watching.